We are now live.
All right, get crispy, Dani. Give me 1 second, then you can clack your balls off. All right.
Daddy.
Was someone touching? Was it Fred Gall? Did he touch my
He put his balls on your headphones.
Teabagged your headphones.
Jersey balls was
Fred
in your
Gall
headphones.
teabagged your headphones when he was over there. All right.
He's like, yeah, how do you like that? You still awake?
Are you fucking...
Do you want
Jason saved me from these two.
Do you want waffles in the morning? No.
Why do you look like an 80s pop singer with your hair like that?
Do I? I don't know what it looks like. The hat's too hot.
Like I'm waiting for you to start singing Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Totally clear of the heart. No, dude, I'm more of a tell me how am I supposed to live without you?
Is that Michael McDonald?
That's
Yeah, it is Michael McDonald.
Michael.
No, it's Michael McDonald.
No,
Isn't it?
it is
I think so.
not. It's not Michael McDonald.
Peter Cetera?
It is a
Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton.
Michael Bolton. There we go. Like it.
Did you crack that thing yet, girl?
Dude, I used to love like the commercials that would come on and they were like selling you CDs that had all those
Crackle,
songs on
pop.
there.
Oh my God, is that Freedom Rock? Do you remember that one?
We'll turn it up.
Yes, Chip knows. Is that Freedom Rock? Whoa, brother, we'll turn it up. I love the Freedom Rock commercial. It's amazing.
All the
Tell my
CDs for a
position
penny.
here.
Or cassette tapes.
Episode 2 here with Chip Adams. I am your co-host, Andy Botto. We have your main hosts, Jason Chapman, and then we have the other co-host, Danielle Grant.
Last but not least.
Yeah, big
Danielle Grant, and then
DBG.
I said your whole fucking name, dude, because
All right.
remember last
Danny
time
Beck.
you got all upset and wanted your social and everything, but I said your whole name. So,
Oh, well, last
being
time was
said-
39th time, so that'll make sense to somebody who's watching this in the 39th time.
yeah, sorry.
So, okay, so here's what happened. All right, I am Jason. I'm Jason Chapman from the Charm City Skatepark. I know you just did it. I'm just rolling through because you missed a couple of things.
I didn't get a chance to. I was
Oh,
cut
you
off.
want to go ahead.
Yeah, I would love to. Do you want me to restart?
You're
No, you don't
you're
have to restart,
stealing
just
his
go ahead.
lines.
Okay, and here we are in the High Five Podcast studio, perpendicular to
I like when he says perfect.
the Board Brewery, adjacent to the skate park,
A lot of
Charm
big
City Skatepark.
mathematics words
located
here.
within the Baltimore Skateboarding History Museum.
Baltimore Museum of Skateboarding History. Mosh.
Mosh. And
B-Mosh.
we're here. We've got a couple beautiful specimen here surrounding me.
All right, okay, well, let me get to the part that we missed a little bit. This is episode number 2. The reason this is episode number 2 is because we strive for perfection here at the High Five Podcast Studio, and we fucked up so many times that the number 2 was Cam before, and Cam is amazing, and we're just going to have to bring Cam back and redo it, because... Oh, I told him.
We are?
Yeah. Oh, I went to edit.
I don't mind.
Yes, I love your
because
face.
Cam is amazing.
I love your face. But I went to edit it today. Because remember, the pod track... Just checking. Yeah. Oh, because remember the pod track wasn't on, and then we stopped and started midway or whatever. We're learning. So we have had 40 guests since we've done
We're
this.
very transparent about being total F-ups.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I
Things
know
have
we are.
happened,
But we've had so much fun, and we've had so much fun learning with it. And
If you're not messing up, you're not learning.
yeah, you got that right.
It's just like skateboarding.
Oh my
Exactly.
god, I forgot we got to do this too.
We need... what we really need is to like show that we're serious, like in the podcast game, to show
We are
people
serious.
what's up.
Oh, we're serious about not being serious, but we are taking our job seriously.
You know what we need.
I've been pretty serious.
I'm just saying.
I've been pretty serious.
Serious as a heart attack.
People would take us a little bit more serious if we had.
It's a torrential downpour out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
One of them like ice cream
Like,
machines.
close
the
to state of
soft-serve
emergency
ones right
on here.
I have a
I'm
soft
real
serve machine in the
serious.
room next door to us.
Hear
That's
that,
what's in that
ladies and
crate.
gentlemen? We're serious, guys.
That's what's in that crate.
We
I
came to
have a
fucking
soft
play.
serve.
We came to
We
play.
did come to play actually, but okay. So here's the deal.
You thought I was
Jeez,
being
Jesus.
serious. I love that. You were like, wait a second. We are serious. What's going on here?
Yeah, we are serious. And I know this. Hopefully, if you're just tuning in, or this is your first chance, giving us a chance at the high five. We have had 42 guests, and it has been awesome.
Jackie Robinson. He was number 42. They've retired his number in the MLB.
All right,
Only wear one
It's
season.
been a whirlwind. I feel like this podcast has made time fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts, right? So if we release one a week, we've almost got a year in the bank already, and we are crushing because we've had amazing guests. But tonight, right before Dani got here, in the High Five Podcast studio, we had Freddie Gall sitting in that seat right there.
Legends.
I had a bunch of legends in here. I had Kenny Reed. We had Evan Smith. We've had a bunch of Miles Willard was hanging out. We've had a bunch of really cool, the iPath team pretty much. So we've had a really cool bunch of people come by tonight. Danielle, Vicky Grant wanted to bump Chip for Fred Gall. And I was like, I've already bumped Chip twice. This is the second go around. This is the second
Chip
go
is
round.
always in town, though.
Yeah.
You know, like,
You Jersey
Whoa!
folk.
defense.
Whoa!
I mean, not that I take you for granted.
You
Chip.
Jersey
I do
folk need to
not.
stick
But
together,
you're
I know.
always
Dude,
here. Fred Gall
now
isn't
he's got a
always
chip
in
on his
town.
shoulder.
He has a chip on his shoulder,
Fred Gall
and that's
isn't
why
always
she
in
takes
town.
everything.
She's got a chip on her shoulder.
No, and Danielle, Vicky Grant takes everything for Granted. Granted. All right, you got it. All right, there's
Or
the
if
joke.
you're a dummy, you say granite.
But I'm
like a
bunch.
dude.
Granite. All right, so we've already said this. I know that we have already said this 42 times. Whatever. She's a realtor. We'll go through it real quick. She's a realtor. Is she a realtor or a realtor?
Realtor.
I don't know. Is that we've done this like 35 times. Yeah, a realtor. She's a real one. Tell you that.
Real. She's out
And then
here
we got-
slanging them houses.
If anybody doesn't know, Andy
Perry
is
Hollow Tire Center. Bang, 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 bang,
he is a
bang.
mechanic
Here we
by
are.
he's a mechanic by trade. So he likes to give cosmetics. So when we do the high five is
Car cosmetics.
she's going to give her
People
top
cosmetics.
5. Andy's going to give his
I
top
give my
5.
technicals.
And I give my high 5. And these are all related to Chip. But like I said, we've already done 40 of these. And Andy loves to give some cosmetics to the...
I want to
Let
just
the
let
fellas
everybody
know.
know right now, before I even,
Michelle loves the podcast.
before we move into any, well, she's yet to see it, but I'm sure she's going to love it.
You already said that in episode 1. You're like, I just want everybody to let everybody know Michelle loves this podcast. And then you're like, Michelle's a whale. And then we go,
What?
Yeah, you did.
I absolutely did not
No,
say that.
you didn't at all. But you were like,
There's no
I-
way I said that.
you.
Right now,
Oh my
she-
God! It's July 30th.
Right now-
Check the YouTubes because you say, I love her post where she says, I'm a whale. She's like, I'm a whale. I'm a big old whale.
Oh, talking about the belly?
Okay.
Yeah.
You
Oh, dude,
just
you should see it
twisted
now.
my words.
You're right. I did because it's funny that way.
You should see it now. Oh my God, dude. Beef between Michelle and Dani for no reason.
Whale
That's what he was
beef.
trying to do.
Dani.
No way. I like
Michelle doesn't-
Michelle's
You were
awesome.
trying to start a Jersey girl fight.
Michelle's. There's no way.
Michelle's
There's no
not a
way.
fighter, like, she doesn't get down like that. She's, like, peaceful.
Yeah. She got out of the car the other day, and I was like, "Whoa, miserable,"
Yeah.
because she is about to explode.
Yeah, I say peaceful.
For those who don't know at home, Michelle was Andy's significant other partner who is about to give birth to their 75th child.
Love Michelle.
There you go.
And we make bunk and babies happen.
All right, I'm just gonna cut right to her face on that one because that was too good. All right, bunk. We got bunk and Vicky in the morning. All right, you ready? you're on the High Five podcast. Bunk and Vicky in the morning. All right. So let's talk about our guest Chip.
Chip.
What's up?
Oh yeah, wait.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to say. I wanted. To,
Well, get to the
We're
point. We've only
distracting
got.
the focus too
Okay,
much.
I said that I love Michelle, but the whole
Chip
reason
is the
I
main
stopped
character
because
here.
I was going to talk about our guest. First off, I wanted to start off by saying and just warn the masses because I find Chip to be very alluring. And
He's alluring or a learning.
Learning?
alluring.
Alluring.
I'm a learning to love Chip. All right.
And I get lost in his eyes.
All right, sick. How am I supposed to live
guess.
without you?
Hashtag thanks. I don't know.
All right.
Hashtag Michael
Where do
Bolton.
we go from there now?
Anyway, yeah, where do we go? All right. So, for those who don't know, our guest, Chip Adams, he's from Baltimore, born and bred in Fork, Maryland. And I'm not even going to have to censor that. Fork, Maryland.
Yeah, it's right down the street from Spoon, Maryland.
It's right near Bel Air, Maryland.
Kingsville.
Yep, Kingsville, Fork, Bel Air, they're all closely related. And then
They call the spoon and the fork
Just here's a
line.
little probably unknown information, but Matt Bollinger lived in Fork. I didn't know that,
wow.
but yeah.
Oh, I always thought, because I always thought he was a Bel Air kid.
I think he was, but I don't know him personally. I know his sister, and they lived in Fork, like 3 houses down from the house I lived in. Not at the same time, but
Stop.
Your hand on the. You're hitting.
oh, that is
Yeah,
me.
I'm gonna cut
bad.
right to that. You're like,
All right.
yo. All right. Anyway, yeah, when I actually met Matt, it was at Mason-Dixon Park,
Okay.
and I figured, and this was when he was I think he wrote for Skatology at the time, and I could be wrong, but somebody in the comments, I know, easy, bro. I don't know his sponsors list. But I met him at the Charm City Mason-Dixon Park.
Okay.
He came in and he would skate with all the Skatology guys when they were there.
Gotcha.
Were you born in Fork?
No. I lived most of my younger years. I was in like Catonsville,
Oh, okay.
on that side of town. I didn't move to Fork until the end of middle school
Okay.
and then high school.
And you came up in the 80s and 90s, and you rode for Reach for the Beach?
I did. Yep.
Reach for the Beach was one of the local shops. Andy Cohen owned it, and he had Water Everywhere, which is a bikini shop.
Mhm.
Ooh, Chip did not ride for the bikini shop.
I did not.
And I think he owned Rudy's
I think he was like a silent partner.
of
with their,
Sticky Fingers. Yeah, Sticky Fingers in Fells Point, which
Yep.
was a super cool store. We always loved Sticky Fingers.
Mhm.
And so a lot of us rode for Reach for the Beach. Me, Rodney Jones, Bachman rode for Reach for the Beach for a while.
Rob Cole,
Rob Cole. And
Zig.
Ziggy. Can't forget
Like
Ziggy. Love
team
Ziggy.
Manager Tim Wise, Ray Fantasy.
And they actually, cool thing about Reach for the Beach is, what do you think the coolest thing I'm going to say?
Well, I know where you're going with it. 13 Colonies.
Yep. So Brian Weaver worked at Reach for the Beach. 2 cool things. I bought a 720 arcade machine from Brian Weaver for $300 and had it in
Nice.
the front of the Charm City skate shop for years.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's where I got that machine.
Okay.
And then another thing is that Brian Weaver started 13 Colonies,
Yeah.
which was a board company based in the Reach for the Beach White Marsh store. He had super cool riders like D. Barley rode for him. Donnie Barley
Donnie
rode.
Barley,
rode-
Kenny Hughes, Brian Sieber.
Brian Sieber rode for it?
Yeah.
Wow, we
Mhm.
talked about him at length at the with the skate wagon. You can see that one in like 29 episodes, dude.
Yeah.
But if this comes out in time, I think in like 2 or 3 weeks they're having the summer wagon, right?
Yes.
So the skate contest
Oh,
called the
yeah,
Summer
yeah.
Wagon. That's
Yeah.
coming up soon.
Yep.
And I'm going to try to get this out in time. This is going to be number 2 in the list, in the rotation. So then we have Donnie Barley, Ken Hughes, who rode for Element. Oh, both of them rode for Element.
Yeah.
That's weird. And Gary Smith rode for 13 Colonies.
Yeah.
He got Gary to quit PAL to ride for 13 Colonies.
Wow.
Yeah, that was big.
When was the first time you seen skateboarding?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I think I was like 6 or 7 when I got my first skateboard. I was on vacation in Florida, and I bought a little plastic board from like Goodwill,
Nice.
I don't know, like 25 cents, 50 cents, or whatever.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bargain. And you got a lifetime of hurt for that quarter.
Yeah,
Big baller.
for sure. Yeah, it's like 6 or 7.
That's where you started.
Mm-hmm.
And you've had right, I think right now you're kind of on fire right now as like the old shredder, like the old man ripper. Like people are like, oh, that old dude's killing it, man.
Trying. It'll catch up with me sooner or later, but
Yeah, no, yeah, I think you're doing really good. One of the things that we do all the before the podcast, which we do usually record every Tuesday, is we have a Tuesday night old man sesh at the Charm City Skatepark up on the Spine up front. And they've been like super positive and like a great, everybody pushes each other.
it's like, I guess I got it now.
Everybody's like, Andy, why do you make a fakie tray flip and land in an Andy stall? Because look, I've been watching the footage. I might have said this before. I've been watching the footage for the I'm old. I'm 52 years old, and I'm making a video of 52 different tricks at 52 years old. And all my friends are in it, and it's been a super positive experience and like so fun to edit and so fun to make. But when I'm watching the footage, Andy he's almost made fakie tray flip nose blunt like 20 times, but he keeps, and we're going to refer to this in the podcast a lot. If you land with your wheels right below it's almost a chip because you do it sometimes too. But
Mine's just an axle stall that misses.
yeah, but he lands on his front truck below the coping and makes it a ton. What's your go-to?
Nollie, big spin.
Yeah.
Nose
Nose
pick.
pick.
And he can make it almost every time on everything. But sometimes he'll land with his wheels below the coping and still make it.
Makes it. Yep.
And he was trying to fakie tray nose blunt, and he's landed it in the Andy stall like 6,000 times, and they look so
impressive.
good. Yeah, no, I was like, he did 3 in a row one time, and I'm like, what? You got an inch, man, an inch, and you're gonna hit that front truck.
It's like when I do my half cab rock to fakies. Right, Chip?
Yep.
So Dani,
I will still make it even if my wheels hit the coping.
You're bashing?
It's wild. Sometimes, yeah. But I still will make it.
Yeah.
As
It's
Jeff
impressive.
would say, Dani's kind of a big air kind of gal.
So Dani skates too. We all skate, and she's been doing really well with her progression over the. How long has it been? 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years now. She's at the point where she's getting frustrated with tricks because she wants to.
I'm at that point where I'm getting frustrated.
Yeah, no, because now you're
I
like.
feel like I was frustrated from the
No. No, now you are though, because you're like, I want this, I want this,
in a
I want
good
that.
way,
I need
because I
this.
care.
Yeah, she's trying to get over the spine.
Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I take this so seriously.
Back to Chip being old.
Chip's not old. He is a spring chicken.
He's ollieing like a spring chicken still, which is crazy. You just did that clip that you just posted with you tray flipping to fakie at Ledgewood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, trying.
I mean,
to
to be fair, that was like 2 years ago, but still.
that's
51.
yeah. 51, son. Chip's out here tray flipping on Jersey walls. It's
Okay,
nuts.
but Chip's still like amazing regardless
He's
of
old.
age.
He's always been a talented skater. As long as I've known him, he's been a
Let's separate Chip from skateboarding real quick.
what? But that is
This is
Chip.
That,
He
yeah,
is an
that,
absolute.
That is Chip.
it is.
That is Chip's
Yeah, but
identity. No, Chip
I
is
see
more
when I
than a
look into his
skateboarder.
eyes, it's like the Ratatouille scene where like the guy
There is
like
more to
takes a
Chip
bite of the
than
food and like
skateboarding.
sees his mother's house and everything. I see that. I see the child in Chip just free.
When I see Chip, I see him behind a privacy fence with his face through a hole. because that's burned in my memory. I'll never forget that.
That's what happens when you get kicked out of the ramp.
Yeah, so he got kicked out of a private ramp, and that's showed up to skate, and he's like, I have to stay on this side of the. I'm like, all right, sick. So
Wait, so how did that?
Things happen, you know. I went to Cheap Skates with you back in the day a couple times.
Yep.
But it was like the Sports Elite crew was always our friends, and Sports Elite was Brandon, Bucky, then Justin Lennon rode for him, Conrad rode for him. Who else? Matt Martin from 410.
Chris Weichert?
Matt Martin from 410 Skateboards.
Yeah. I don't know. Did Chris
Yeah,
ride
he
for
rode-
sports, or he was in the crew?
He was in a similar sitch. I think he rode for him at one point. But then, oh my God, two things. Since you brought him up, I got to mention this. He got kicked out of sports and wasn't allowed in sports.
Okay. Shocking.
Yeah. Sean Green. Can't forget Sean Green. Love Sean Green.
Yep.
But Weichert was, you know, that like pawn shop? Well, it's a pawn shop now, but it was a bank for a while across the street.
He'd sit on the curb.
He would hang out on that curb.
Yeah.
But he could do ollie wall rides on, it's like a 4-foot wide patch of gray marble, and then goes the brick, and then another 4-foot wide patch of gray marble and then brick. But he was doing perfect ollie, like good ollie wall rides on and back then that was like, and he had such a limited space, so you're like getting on in the 4 foot and then coming down. He was absolutely just blowing my mind, and I was like, damn, Weichert's good, dude. Love that. And then who else? There was a bunch of Bucky Lasek.
Yeah. Novak.
Brandon Novak.
Yeah.
Sterling Ruby.
Oh, did he ride for?
Yeah, Sterling
Sports
rode.
League? Okay.
He rode for it when Rodney and I were on
Okay.
for a short time. And if anybody do you know who Sterling Ruby is?
Nope.
He's a famous artist. He gets like $1 million a painting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, wow.
And he was our homie. He rode for us. He's
Jeff
also,
Martin.
And yeah, Jeff Martin. Oh yeah, Jeff rode
Yeah.
for it. And he was like the connect to Sterling.
Yeah.
You do know who Sterling is because I've brought him up to you a bunch whenever we were doing lessons. He will take 55 pushes to do a frontside pivot. Like a no joke on like a 2-foot quarter. Like this dude had so much speed for every trick. He was outstanding. He was amazing. Love Sterling. And he's the kind of guy who, you know, paints probably the same way, and that's why he gets $1 million for that painting.
From Shrewsbury.
Yeah, Shrewsbury, PA. He's a shrewd berry. That he is one of them shrewd berries. All right, so yes, we're hanging out with sports guys. Reach for the Beach guy, and that's the thing. You know, those two shops, everybody always got along. There wasn't any ever beef. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're amongst the riders. They're like we were all just friends. I think the fake beef was between Andy and Pat.
Was there?
Yeah, but I don't even think it was like really anything. Like I don't think they cared about each other.
Yeah, two very different shops.
Yeah, one shop's in the county, one shop's in the city. Yeah.
And Pat Albin ran Sports Elite.
Yeah.
He's the homie. Yeah, bud. Oh, Roe. Can't forget Roe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
When
buddy.
was the first time you two? I'm sure you've told me this before.
Yeah,
but
buddy.
When was the first time you two like met and skated?
Wayne's
Started skating?
probably.
Yeah, probably Wayne's.
So Edward Wayne Guttermuth was one of my best friends growing up, and we definitely wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Wayne because he got me on the like building engineering. He's an engineer now.
Okay, cool.
He makes not $1 million per painting, but he makes a lot of. You know, he's big. Yeah, he designs schools and stuff, and I think he sees it through to the end of the project. Wayne's awesome.
This hallway is gonna really help these kids learn.
Hey, he's great, dude. Wayne's amazing. I think that he slips skatable stuff in too, like on the sly.
He's like, I'm gonna put stairs in the middle of the school. It's just gonna be an upstairs for no reason.
Well, he's gonna have it shaped like a
Why
quarter
do like
pipe or something.
schools randomly have steps in them? Like, why can't you just make it flat? Just make it all
Oh, because I
flat.
think they need more levels so they can have. They don't want to waste the space vertically.
Well, there's
you'd
been
be-
schools where
If you have schools with like 5, look at Kenwood High. If you have schools with like 600 students, you're gonna need an upstairs to like, keep them
Understood.
moving.
That's different, but like, okay. So Stemmer from middle school, right? I'm most familiar with that. Okay. There's an upstairs and a downstairs. But listen, in the downstairs, there's steps that don't go to the upstairs. They just go up. And then there's Like it's all the same floor. There's no separation of floors.
Like a 70s conversation pit, isn't it? Oh, you love those realtor. Oh, that realtor senses are tingling. You're gonna make me talk about Gordon Riggis. Did I tell you this?
I don't even know who that is.
I don't either, but
You do. You know who it is. He went to prison, and his name is Riggins, and he got Riggis tattooed on him in prison, and came out of prison with a Riggis tattoo.
Yeah,
and they're like,
backwards.
I'm like, hey man,
look at that in the mirror.
you're missing a letter.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that's why that guy was laughing. I'm like, all right, man. Anyway, that crazy ass did one of the sickest things I've ever seen in my life. Me and Pee-wee and I had went to Dundalk High to pick him up from school. He was flying down the hallway with millions of people, like school would just let out. He's flying down the hallway on his skateboard. There's an 8 set, or used to be an 8 set. You know how perfect them school hallways are? Perfect, smooth,
Just smooth,
buttery
full.
steps.
And then when you pop, you hear that.
Yeah, oh my God. He, with a crowded people, and I'm not exaggerating, I swear to God, this is like, I swear. This fool did a backside heel flip, backpack on. People, I was like, does he think he's fucking Muska? Backpack on, backside heel through the crowd.
Down the steps?
Yes, down the 8 set. Made it perfect. And
What
it just
the
wrote,
fuck?
it's like, hey guys, I'm ready to get, and I was like, what the?
Just like something you would see on like TV, like
Yes,
like a TV
it was
show.
Did you
insane.
make a superlative in the yearbook for that?
I don't think they.
Dude, imagine
I
that
don't
still
think
shot in the fucking movie in the.
It was
yearbook.
outstanding. I can't forget it. Just like seeing Chip's face on the other side of that
I
privacy
think
fence.
that's
I can't.
superlative worthy.
Chip, what's your favorite? What's your favorite skate park of all time, or skate mini ramp of all time?
Park or mini ramp, two different things.
Yeah,
Mini ramp.
I don't even know.
Skate park.
What? You don't have a favorite
Um,
mini?
I mean, I like the mini ramp here for certain reasons. I like Matt's mini ramp for certain reasons.
All time.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know. The Audio Warehouse had a really good
There
mini
you go.
ramp. I liked skating that. That was really fun.
How do you rate your
That church mini ramp.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'd have to say
What makes
the
a
church
mini
park.
ramp a good mini ramp?
Yeah,
For you.
what are you looking for?
Well, he likes steeper transitions.
Yeah, like steeper transitions, obstacles like extension channel, whatever on there. I would say, yeah, the church park in San Diego, that would probably be my favorite. It was 3 mini ramps back to back to back. They were not spined.
Yeah.
There's decks in between, but you could like roll in and out from one to the other. It was a 3 foot, a 5 foot, and a 4 foot.
That's sick.
Yeah, I'd that's probably my favorite. Those ramps were really fun. Good times there.
I'm going with a field ramp.
That was a good one too, though.
I really love the ramp that we have up here now. Basement ramp. I love the basement ramp. The triple spine.
I feel like the field ramp for me is where I started really like learning stuff, like
Really?
nose blunts and like frontside nose blunts, stuff like that.
I guess
Where's
maybe
the
the
field
time. The field
But
ramp
even
was,
Wayne's ramp was when it was a spine.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Like learning all different types of transfers over the spine, like different
Am
grabs
I
and
supposed
stuff.
to know
And
the field ramp?
Yeah, I made it. It was at the end of.
it was in a field.
It was just at the in a field at the. I had no money. I don't know where I got wood. I just. Oh no, my friend Joe's ex-girlfriend stole money from the.
Extension
money
cord
from her.
running across the
What?
street.
You got money from her.
And I just showed up at the field one day.
I do not.
I didn't. I swear to God, I didn't do anything. I showed up at the field one day, and Joe had blessed me with a pallet of Heckinger wood,
Nice.
and I was like,
Here
"Holy
you go.
shit!" And
Cool.
then
So then you just started building her.
now that we had a financier,
chick's name that invested in Ledgewood? What was her name?
Bang Tam.
Yeah, you had a bang team.
We had well, funny. That's a funny joke.
Bang, bang,
You guys
tam.
had to bang Tam.
That's a funny. Anyway.
Any Hoosiers.
Anywho, to get into I'm going to get into a 5 already because Dani worked us right into this one.
Wait,
we're talking about
for
it.
the fight.
We're not at all.
We're not just-
We're not at all.
Say,
But I was going to mention
Dani,
this
are
earlier.
you rushing us?
No, not at all. But Ethan, Chip, and I had a little photo shoot the other day, recreating a field ramp moment. My best friend Joe at the time, well, he's still my best friend, but Joe Howard, my homie, who
He's your
lives.
best friend?
Joe is, yeah. You never met Joe.
Wait, sorry, Joe. Wait.
He lives in New Hampshire. He lives in New Hampshire. I've mentioned
I've
him.
never heard of him.
I've mentioned it. Yes, you have, because we talked about this the last time we did this exact
like a
podcast.
jealous
Wait.
girlfriend.
No.
Wait,
I'm just
I
no,
mean the most to
I'm not
you.
jealous at all. No,
Wait,
I
so
just
if his
mean,
birthday
why
was on my
haven't I
birthday-
why haven't I heard of him?
Well, he moved to New
He's
Hampshire
your
a long time
bestie.
ago. And his son, Ethan, oh, you didn't see him. He was here earlier, but he's the,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Ethan is Joe's kid,
Okay.
which is
Got
amazing
it.
that he,
yeah, I know Ethan.
hey, ASMR, cool it. So Ethan works for me now, which is awesome. But Joe, as Chip was doing If He Would Have Fakey, Joe stepped on his nose of his skateboard, and Chip just kept going and fell to the flat. And it's the first time I saw murder. It's the first time I saw murder in somebody's eyes.
And he just laughed.
And Joe was like, like the stupid, like, oh, I fucked up big time, bro. Like, what am I? But I mean, we all had a good sense of humor. That's the number 5 for me, is the sense of humor, and that it was I mean, Ethan, we were talking about this the other day. We're like, okay, so Charm's been around for 32 years or whatever. This is probably like 35 years ago. It was a 35-year-old bit that Joe was doing that finally paid off 35 years later. Because now Chip laughs at it, but back then, woo, he did not.
No, I definitely did not.
So what was funny about it is that we took the picture again, but Ethan put his foot on Chip's board, and Chip was laying on the flat.
Oh, that's too funny.
And I took a bunch of pictures and I sent them to Joe. And all I got back was a voice memo
Yeah.
of him laughing.
Same laugh, probably.
Oh my God, he laughed for so long.
Oh, I love you guys. Oh, that made my day.
So your sense
It's
of
funny that he totally knew also. Like,
that it was a 35-year bit.
yeah. Like, no, like, what is this? It doesn't make any sense or whatever. Like, he knew exactly what he did and what was being recreated.
It was crazy. Oh yeah, because that was probably. I know he felt bad. Like, oh my God, who would not?
Yeah.
Luckily, it was a 3-foot ramp, not a like not a vert ramp.
Yeah.
The old oopsie daisy.
You. So yeah, my number 5 is your sense of humor, and that you made Joe's 35-year-old bit come true, and it was pretty funny.
So if you guys didn't know this, Chip, he's a big pizza guy. Pizza. Cheddar whizzy, dude.
Yeah, he loves pizza.
What's
right?
your favorite kind of pizza? What's your favorite pizza? What's your favorite place to eat pizza, to consume it,
Johnny
to
Rad?
taste it, to
Johnny
feel
Rad's
it?
is pretty good.
Johnny Rad's
He
is
wants
amazing.
to go on a pizza date with you.
I mean, to the pizza.
Andy loves pizza.
He's like, if we
Yeah,
went on
but
a pizza date,
I gotta
where
look.
should
I already
take
had
you?
my consumption of like nasty food
Who-
this week,
who would
so I
pay? If you
gotta.
guys went on a pizza date, who would pay?
I'd pay for it. I would take care of my chippy
Yeah,
boy.
because
Thanks.
I think
Thanks.
Andy's favorite pizza is whole
Oh yeah,
pizza.
yeah. If it's a whole pizza,
He
I'm
just
gonna eat
eats
it.
the whole pizza.
Yeah.
But see, Johnny Red's, you got to go with the pepperoni and feta and bacon.
No, you
Pepperoni,
don't.
feta, bacon.
No, Andy, we don't eat bacon anymore. It's a carcinogen.
You're right, but
But you still smoke cigarettes, so that ain't
I don't
doing us
smoke
any-
cigarettes. I smoke electrical cigarettes.
So you give me a hard time for driving an electrical car.
I know,
You
but I
smoke electrical
need to
cigarettes.
ditch them all, dude. You're gonna smell the cigarettes.
Yeah, grit.
It's disgusting.
Grit
that
kids.
smell is the gift that keeps on giving.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, I used to go to school. You smell like cigarettes. All right, fucko. You know what I mean? Like, so what? You know what I mean? Like,
That is going to be a high five shirt.
what? All
All
right,
right,
fucko.
Fucko.
Fuck up, just fuck up, because
Yeah.
I've said it like 4 times in the podcast.
I've been saying it a bunch, too.
because it's so great.
It's good.
Right? Fucko. And anyway, we're going to have, I'm going to be censoring all of it, so I get to do it. So
Well,
the
it's like-
more we say fucko, the more I get to censor it.
It's like passive, and like because like people you
Is it
say
fun? Is it fun? I
right?
think it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun because like you say it to someone, even if you're a little angry and you say it, and they look at you, they don't know if you're being serious or not. So you can be like, play it off. You know what I
when
mean?
you're like, give me everything in the register, fucko, and then they're like, oh, should I? I don't know. Are you playing
this
around?
guy
Playing-
seems pretty chill. You know what I mean?
Whoa, that was not chill.
Whoa, I don't even know. I looked away for a second.
What happened?
You got crotched. Come on, get that shit up. Let's go.
Like,
All right, so we got to get back on the
moving
chip.
forward.
We got to keep moving with Chip.
Yeah, moving like a
We
cow.
haven't touched on really
Chip.
any of like the San Diego.
Well, yeah, let's
that's what I'm trying to get
Let's
to.
hop on an airplane
Barely
here.
anything related to me.
Yeah, I know. Hold the butt. I'm
I
sorry.
know.
Let's hop
Hold-
on an airplane.
No,
and
no,
go
no,
to
we
San
can't do that
Diego.
yet.
Like we're gonna have to
We
redo.
can't do that yet because Chip has such a great history in Baltimore. You know, he did
is.
so much. Who were you skate? Did you ride for 13 Colonies?
Like the second version of it, I guess, when Tim Wise and Ray Fennessy took
Ooh,
over.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this on Derek's episode, but the funniest fucking thing ever with Ray is that when he fell and broke his hip on the vert ramp here, the EMT, which you are an EMT, we'll talk about that, right? Are
Yep.
you?
EMT firefighter. Yeah.
That's right.
He's
Very
trained.
proud of you. Thank you for your service. Appreciate it. Did we talk about?
Appreciate it.
Did
Thank
Did
you.
we, but the Derek told the responding EMT that Ray was like 75 or something. And she was like, oh my God, you're so old to be on the skateboard. You know, like she kept, and Ray was like in pain, but he was like, what are you talking about, lady? And she was like, because you're 75. And he's like, Derek, you fucking asshole.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chip
I don't know
also
why I think
skates
that's so
for
funny right now.
what is it? 13 skateboards. What is it?
13 Colonies?
Defro.
Oh, he
This is
skates
Bolts.
for, he skates for Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore.
Yeah.
Is that who is that?
Devro.
That's Defro.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is 13?
That's his board company, too.
That's who I ride for.
Yeah, I don't skate for
Gotcha. Bet.
Just the hardware. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, so Defro was so smitten with 13 Colonies. We loved that whole vibe or whatever that he was like, yeah, I mean, and he liked, I think he liked, that was inspiration, not, you know, he's
Yeah.
not trying to totally like go down the same exact route. He took a more, I don't know, different route.
Not only are you a skateboarder, but you're a firefighter, trained EMT, all that good jazz, right?
Yep.
The EMT thing comes with the firefighting because don't you have to be trained to do that stuff in order to be a firefighter?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What got you? Like what snapped
What- yeah,
in your
what
head?
did get
were
you into this?
Yeah, what made you think like I'm
So-
just gonna be a firefighter?
It
So
was
he-
an accident on the highway, and you saved the female,
Oh yeah,
right?
No, I didn't save anyone.
good thing. This is his part
you
to tell his
assisted
story.
in an emergency.
Well, hold on.
female,
Where are we going?
right?
So you were a pro skateboarder for FUCT Skateboards, FUCT.
Ah, yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
And then the whole
Good
time that
video.
you were in San Diego, you were getting a degree in graphic design, right?
Not the whole time I was out there, but yeah, I did go to college and
Yeah.
got a degree.
So
and-
here's where I'm going. Is I was like, oh, Chip's sick because I do like what you do. You're very talented with the graphics and stuff. When you do Oldman Skateboards and you do, I've seen a bunch of your graphics and stuff that you've done. So I was always like super impressed, and I like how artistic you are, and was pumped. And then he came back, and they're like, hey, he's a firefighter, and I'm like, what the fuck? He didn't go to college for years to be a firefighter. So I was like shocked and stoked, but.
yeah, that's the reaction that most people have when they hear that.
Yeah, because I was
So-
expecting you to do, great things in that field, but now you're doing great things in this field.
Yeah.
No matter what field he's in, he's doing great things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was,
I
he was a
guess.
great.
I'm trying.
So
he was a great
remind me
pro skateboarder too.
what led to your entry into the
So,
whole...
okay, so going way back, my uncle was a career firefighter in Howard County, and so there was always an interest in it.
Yeah, there's a connection there.
Yeah. When I lived in San Diego, like it was kind of in the back of my mind, but I never really pursued it. I got really into cycling.
Do you just save people on the weekends?
No, no, it's just like literally just tucked away in the back.
It's a casual hobby
But
in Cali.
I was big into cycling, road biking and mountain biking and stuff. And I was on a group ride and saw a guy on a motorcycle get hit by a car. Like literally saw him flying through the air and land on the ground. And I was already on my bicycle. Just we'd stopped for some reasons. I think some people were using the restroom or something. So I pedaled down to where the guy was. And as I got to him, there was a woman that was running, jogging, and she came over. She was a nurse, and pretty much all I knew is like stabilize the head, and just try to keep him calm. So I just flipped the visor up on his helmet and was just talking to him, and just like, hey man, like you're gonna be all right. I know it hurts, but you can't move, whatever. So anyway, after that is when I was like kind of started looking into EMT classes. So I actually did that in San Diego. I got my EMT there, moved back here, and started volunteering, and just kind of was doing that, like the weekend thing, like you were saying, working, doing graphic design, and started applying with Baltimore City, Howard County, and Baltimore County. And ultimately was hired by Baltimore County about 7.5 years ago.
You have done some graphics for the firehouse, right?
I have, actually.
Yeah, that's super
just,
cool.
Like within the station I work at, not for the fire department as a whole, but within the station I work at. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, I've become like the IT/tech guy. Once they learned
Chip will
that
do it.
I
Chip.
knew how to.
Get Chip.
Once they learned that I knew how to like turn a computer on and operate the mouse, they're like, oh, all right,
He's our guy.
fix this, do that.
When it comes to like heroics, are you like a like who's the dude from Hacksaw Ridge? Why are you smiling? Remember Hacksaw Ridge?
Ah, dude.
He's like every time he'd go and he'd save somebody, he's the dude who refused to carry a gun. And he would go and he'd save somebody, and he'd be like, "Please, Lord, let me save one more person." And he'd
I
go
never
back
seen
and
it.
he'd save one more person. It's a good movie. Have you ever seen Hacksaw Ridge?
No clue.
Good movie. Really good movie. I mean, like, but yeah, I don't know.
So what was the question though?
Like, are you like a I'll save anybody kind of thing?
Then he has to,
it's-
right?
I mean, it's not that kind of a mindset. It's just, I don't know. Like, I don't embody anybody really.
Just chip.
It's
He's
just
chipping it.
whatever
Just out here chipping it.
whatever is called for. I mean,
Do what needs
I don't know. There's like cliches, others before self. And,
So you brought some
whatever,
footage.
but-
I'm not going to pull it up now, but I'll play it in the in the episode. But what are we looking at?
The stuff that I gave you it's mostly photos, but it's just like different things from work, car crashes and fires and stuff like that. I tried to just pick some stuff that was more significant.
What's the craziest? I think, didn't we talk about deer?
There's some deer stuff, and I mean like people call 911 for everything.
How many of the calls get routed to you guys? What's the percentage?
So I can't really put a number on it like that. It's the way it works is like you pick up the phone, you call 911, you give them your address, and they determine through the computer system who responds to you.
What, firehouse or what?
Yeah. Everything's divided up. I won't get too nerdy about it, but like the whole county's divided up into what we call boxes. And it's, like if you live in my station's first 2 area, then
Uh-huh.
obviously we come to your house for.
Yeah, it's weird because there's
Whatever,
like a station right over on Conklin, and then there's a station right over by O'Donnell Heights.
Yeah, in the city they're very close together. I think a lot of that's determined by like population density and that kind of stuff. In the county, it's a little, I mean, I think the same thing applies in the county, but it's not as densely populated, so the stations are a little further apart.
Dude, that fire in Baltimore City, just it seems like they never got over it, dude. They were seriously, like in the 1800s or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like they responded, and still, are like we're strict because I think the whole city burned down or something.
A big portion of it, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, serious. It was like serious.
In the 1800s.
Yeah, and then they just were early 19s. And
Yeah,
then they
this was
just
early
I haven't
1900s.
noticed them.
The Great Baltimore Fire.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm not gonna venture a guess because I have no idea. I go look it up. But
It burned for
If you were
Days.
there, would you have been there to
Like
put
oil
it
or
out?
so, probably like oil. Then
I think it was like a port thing.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't.
Like if it was.
I've read
for
up a little bit on it,
days,
but I don't remember the details. A
that'd
lot of
be
it
my
has
best
to.
guess.
A lot of it had to do with the technology or lack of
Sure.
technology that was
Sure.
available or not available back then.
Right.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
Re-
do you
the
think they had those
resources.
big fire hydrants?
don't know if they necessarily had fire hydrants, but they would have had water supply of some sort. But there's just so many factors. Building construction, weather plays into it. Wind. Yeah, there's just a lot that plays into it. So.
Should have been the dude should have been vaping is the problem. So historical accounts and investigations point to a discarded cigarette, and it was it was Sunday, February 7th, 1904.
And one man, one cigarette.
It broke out in the basement of the Hearst building on Hopkins Place, now the site of the Baltimore Arena.
Holy shit.
So a massive configuration consuming over 1,500 buildings and about 140 acres of central Baltimore.
Yeah.
One
And
man.
the fire spread was exacerbated by the lack of standardized firefighting equipment. So you called it, Andy. They didn't have shit.
So,
They were like, here's a bucket. Go get that shit. It says the fire erased the city in one night.
I mean, this goes to show you guys, though. One man, one cigarette, and look at the impact he had.
He's
Big deal.
crazy guy. You're out there on the calls. You're saving the lives. How many lives have you saved?
I don't.
He like etches them into his skin
Yeah,
with
I
like
don't
a
know.
razor blade.
How
Every
many
I
time.
don't know. I mean,
How many notches you got on that belt?
I don't know.
That's 5. This one's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I couldn't even because a lot of times you don't know the outcome.
Yeah, I mean it's
you
systemic,
know?
right? So
Yeah,
you can.
you do your job there in the moment and get them to the hospital, and then the hospital does their job, and
These
Do
guys.
you think being a skateboarder has helped with the physical and mental demands of being a firefighter?
The
And
physical,
have you translated
the physical
any, or,
demands.
Like, do you even think about that? Like the
Well, I mean, you got to carry people down a.
the skills, the emotional skills, like all those things that you've learned.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
lessons you've learned through skateboarding. Do you think about that at all? Like, and apply it to your job?
I think subconsciously it probably applies, but I mean, I don't really I don't come back from a call and be like, man, I'm so glad I tried kickflips 3,000 times when I was 12 years old because that
Man.
helped me hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't think about it
You
like
like
that.
start
But,
filming it every time you
Yeah.
see someone.
I think it would. I think like you told us that story about the deer where the deer was in the hallway.
yeah.
I could see the skateboarder firefighter being like, "Fuck it, I'll go get it," versus like some of the other firefighters might be like, "Oh, I'm not touching that one."
Dude, I'd go tackle that thing. I'd ride it. That's all.
Ride the
I mean,
deer.
I think like
Because
you were
there's
saying, like,
there's a
physicality.
level of danger involved in both, right? But in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with skateboarding, it's a little bit more controlled, sort of. Like, you know a little more what you're getting into, to a degree.
Do you find being a firefighter more challenging than being a skateboarder? Then, or
It's different. Like I don't know how else to explain it. I mean,
Well, skateboarding, you don't have to carry 100 pounds of equipment, right? So
yeah, I mean,
Sort of. He is got to set his shit up and do his thing. And if you're Mr. Jeff, you got your knee pads, you got your helmet, you got your,
brioche roll.
you got your brioche roll, you got your not exactly similar. Oh my God! Somebody just yelled at me in the comments again.
All right, left eye. I want to take this thing onto an airplane and head on over into San Diego.
What year was that?
for what when I went
San
to San
Diego.
Diego, I moved
And
out there in 1996, end of '96.
Why?
I always wanted to go as a little kid. Apparently, I used to tell my mom all the time that, when I turn 18, I'm moving to, I think I always claimed Venice Beach. I think I actually went to Venice Beach like twice in the 20 years I lived in San Diego. So, and Venice is obviously not in San Diego. But, so anyway, I had some friends that were going on a road trip. I actually, that summer, was working at Woodward. I was washing dishes, which in my opinion was probably the best job there, because when you weren't washing dishes, you didn't have anything else to do. You could just skate. But anyway, I had some friends going on a road trip, joined them, drove cross country, spent a couple of weeks in LA first, I think, and then went to San Francisco for maybe like a week or so, then went down to San Diego and basically just kind of made that decision on the spot and was like, I think I'm going to stay. I got, like whatever, 2 weeks worth of clothes and my skateboard and very minimal money, and decided to stay.
Who took you in?
Who took me in? I stayed with a guy that I knew, I should say. I slept on his couch for a while. And then, met a girl, got married.
Oh, okay.
Eventually.
Yeah, I was the best man. I was there.
Yeah. Bought a house, did all that. And unfortunately, the marriage didn't work out.
And somebody stole your VX?
Yeah. I did lose a video camera.
That's one of the most traumatic things for me.
Car?
No, the
No.
VX1000.
Didn't someone steal?
I did have a car stolen, actually. So Rodney stayed with me for a while. Out
Rodney
there.
Jones.
Yeah, let's see, I think it was right when he first got on PAL. But he basically lived with my ex-wife and I, slept on the sofa. We had gone out skating one night, and we came back, parked my car.
Where was that house at?
Hillcrest is the
Hillcrest.
neighborhood.
Yeah, Andy, Hillcrest.
Went to sleep, and I remember waking up in the morning, and Rodney was like, "Hey, your car's not there." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "It's not where you parked it." And we walked out there, and it was not there.
What kind of car was it?
It was a little Honda Civic, red one.
Brand new, right?
No, not brand new, but
Newer.
I don't even remember what year it was, but yeah, there's a community in San Diego that Honda Civics are very popular with them. They drop bigger motors in them and whatever. So the car was stolen, went to a chop shop. I got a phone call, I don't know, a couple days later, like, "Hey, we found your car. It's in this tow yard." And I went there, and it had nothing, like no seats. It had like a bucket for somebody to sit on. I mean, literally nothing, no doors, no hood,
Wow.
And they were like, "Yeah, it's $200 to get it out." I was like, "I don't want it. What am I going to do with it?
Right.
Sit on this bucket and drive around?" So apparently what I learned later is that this was kind of like a typical scenario. They would go and they'd steal a car, strip all the parts off of it, leave essentially the frame of it. It would get towed.
And then buy it back.
And then they would go in and, pay $200, or it would go to auction and they'd pay a few $100s for it. And now they legally own it, and they can
And
put all the
have
parts back on it.
back. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was like a whole scam out there.
Hey, car guy.
So
How's that
yeah.
sound?
Maybe back in my youth.
He's like, listen to this. I like this racket.
Yeah,
Did you
apparently,
say, oh my God,
you know.
Danny. You didn't see him going like this
No,
over there?
I've always been an honest man. I've never
Good job.
stolen a thing.
And that's why I like you.
But yeah, so that was the story of that car.
What did you do? Like, how did you react? I mean, the way you retell a story, you seem very calm. But
That's
like,
pretty much how it
you're right.
went. You know, like I remember
At that point, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I remember going to the tow yard, and you know the guy's just like, "Yeah, it's back here," and he walked myself and my ex-wife back there, and Rodney might have been with us. I don't remember if he was or not, but we walked back, and I was like, "All right, yeah." And that's when he was like, "Yeah, it's $200 or whatever amount it was to get it out," and I was like, "Yeah, I don't want it. Like, what am I going to do with it?"
I was with Ro,
Yeah.
and Ro pulled a heist to get a CD player out of a car that was in a tow yard. His car. He
Okay.
just wanted the CD player back really bad, and I was like, Jesus, peasy, Steve. And they had like dogs and guns and everything, and
It's crazy.
he stand by me to get over that fence to get that goddamn CD player. It was crazy, dude. You haven't met Ro. I'm a piece of work. I love you, Ro. You're a piece of work, brother.
What was your favorite skate spot in San
Whoa.
Diego?
Oh yeah, that's good. All right. That's a good one.
Oh man, I probably couldn't even narrow it down to one thing. San Diego in general would probably be my favorite skate spot. When I moved out there in '96, the apartment that we moved into was like 3 blocks from the Zero house, like from the first Zero video. My downstairs neighbor when I first moved in was Matt Moffat, not the Matt Moffat from here, but he was a vert skater.
Uh-huh.
I think he's actually like a deep sea fisherman or something now.
What?
Yeah. But anyway, he was my downstairs neighbor. And I want to say Peter Hewitt either lived with him or was there very frequently. They were my downstairs neighbors, like
Yeah, you skated-
fresh off the plane.
You skated with Melch a lot too, right, Patrick?
Yeah,
Melcher?
Patrick Melcher lived probably like a block away. Actually, we were roommates for a short time. It was me and my ex-wife and him and a girl that he was dating. Lived in an apartment together. Very short time, but
He was the judge at all the Zoomies couch tours, I think.
okay.
I saw him years apart at the Zoomies couch tour.
Yeah.
It was pretty crazy. I mean, it's cool to see him.
Yeah.
And he still skates. He still rips.
Yeah. Skated with him tons. After Moffat moved out, randomly and very oddly, Matt Kriegel from Virginia, 13 Colonies, whatever, moved into the apartment below me.
Uh-huh.
And we knew each other, but I didn't know that he was moving in, and he didn't know that I lived there. And
That's
he
crazy.
became my downstairs neighbor, and we actually like stole cable TV, like, you know, just split it and just, I don't know. I mean, that's not a big deal, but
Oh, I thought he stole your Civic. I thought that
no.
was what you said.
But, you know, so him and I skated together all the time because, I mean, it was just, you know, run
Yeah, no,
downstairs
it's
and knock
awesome.
on the door.
Yeah, hey.
And where we lived at that time was, we were in San Diego city limits, but we weren't like downtown. But it was a fun skate to downtown. It was more or less downhill the whole way with tons of spots and, you know.
To paint the picture of San Diego at this time, it's Osiris is happening. Was it right before Osiris? Or?
I probably moved there right before Osiris, but yeah, I mean, there was like a lot going on in San Diego.
Yeah, so Osiris was a skate shoe that just was based in San Diego, and Tony Magnuson, who made H Street, made Osiris, and it was just popping. When I visited you in San Diego, grandmas had Osiris on, like the whole city had Osiris on, and people were like pumped for it, you know?
Yeah.
And
I
it was
remember when girls, you'd always just see like the one girl that'd be wearing like
Skate shoes?
SpongeBob pajamas with like Osiris's on.
D3s.
Probably a
Big,
little
fat,
later.
thick guys.
Yeah, D3s. That happened a little bit later, but then there was, I mean, Galwing was based there, Zero, like a
Foundation.
Yeah,
Or everything.
Tomieto, yeah.
Tomieto.
Toy Machine, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Pig Wheels, like you took me to an industrial complex, and you were like, "That's that Planet Earth and Rhythm, and that's that, and there's audio and all." It seemed like all of skateboarding was based there.
Yeah, a huge portion was in San Diego County.
Yeah, it was
for
so
sure.
it was so impressive. I was just like so pumped.
And there was like skate spots everywhere.
You took me to the Markovich bump that we talked about with him when you and I interviewed him here.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So would you say was like
So
more
good.
a part of the more like mainstream culture in San Diego in comparison to
Skateboarding? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure out
comparison.
there.
Yeah, that's it. You know, that's like it.
I mean, everybody skateboarded, it seemed like, at some
It was
point.
more common.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean,
You're like,
it's,
this is what
and
everyone does here.
from my perspective, as a skateboarder that's brand new to San Diego, you could go to a schoolyard and it's like Rob Dyrdek and, you know, and they're just skating. They're not there to shoot photos or film anything or whatever. It's just like because they live in the neighborhood and it's like, hey, let's just go down here and skate the schoolyard. And then later we're going to go to this other spot and, you know, whatever. I mean, that was very common, you know, and just with Matt and I so many times, like, all right, yeah, let's go downtown Thursday night, just skate. And you run into people, you know, like.
Yeah, it's insane, but I think that it also worked as a negative kind of at a certain point because there was so many pros and so many great skateboarders. You're right. It just became so hard to stand out. Or we would love to travel there to, you know, hang out with you. And
so I went back to San Diego last fall, and it was still the same. You know, like I met up with Matt. He still lives out there. He's married and has a kid and stuff. And
do they live in the same apartment?
No. But you know, I mean, he's doing awesome. You know, he's got good things going on there. But we went out skating in the first park that we went to. You know, like the kids, I'm air quoting, but I mean, they were so good.
Oh yeah.
And they're just like they were nobody's really. You know, I mean, it kind of sucks to say that, but like they're just so good. Skateboarders are on such a different level.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's bonkers. Like we went, Chip would show us around, and he'd be like, "That's the leap of faith. That's, you know, where Muska did this, or that's where Muska did that, or Sammy Batista, or like everybody was. You know, you just everything was killed. Everything was just destroyed, and you're like, what do you even? I'm just like, what do you even do? Like, you can't. Everything has just been blown out a little bit.
For the first, I don't know how long that I lived there. You know, like I'd just be driving down the road or whatever and see something like, oh man, that was like the cover of Transworld 2 issues ago.
Yeah.
And
you
know,
so
I
amazing.
go home later that night, and there it is, right there. You know, and it also puts things into perspective. You know, like a still photo of a guy doing a handrail. You know, is kind of one thing, and then when you see the handrail and like the run up and whatever, that puts it into a whole different perspective sometimes.
Man, so many tricks have been done in the sports arena, double and triple set.
Yeah,
and it's so like long.
It's
a long low.
4 flat 4, and the flat is probably 5 or 6 feet.
Yeah,
plus the length of 2 sets of stairs.
Switch stuff in the Plan B video, like switch backside flip. Is that what Danny Way did?
Chad Knight switched backside flip.
I
Danny Way did
love Chad
backside
Knight.
360.
I love Chad Knight.
Danny Way in the first Plan B video did backside 360 down the double set.
Oh my God, it's so big, Andy. It's so big.
I think I wasn't like a gap skater, but I think the best thing I did was a backside 180, and I was like pretty happy with that.
You back 180 that?
Yeah.
Ooh, I think
like years after Danny Way backside 360 did.
Yeah, we took Tyler Tufty there. I think he nollie backside flipped it.
Yeah, it's crazy the stuff that's been done down that. And then Jeremy Ray unlocking the triple set with just no ramp or anything, just figuring out how to get speed running and jumping on his board.
So many. There's so many amazing skate parks, amazing skate spots, everything. And the OB is, the 5 is 95 for them. So on the East Coast, we have 95. Over there, they have the 5. If you're on the 5 and you get to the bottom of it, what do you think is at the bottom of it?
I don't know.
The OB park, Danny. The OB skate park. So it's like right...
Ocean Beach.
Yeah, it's right there. And then Rodney lived like a couple blocks away on the beach. So it's like everywhere. It's just skateboarding. Skateboarding is everywhere
and
out there.
Probably in my opinion, probably the second most famous original DIY spot is in San Diego. Burnside being the first, and then Washington Street being the second.
Dude, Washington Street's crazy because they would like weld like there was like a sprocket and like
in
saw blades and shit
in the gate or the fence around it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome. Hey, I wouldn't want to skate that. Ruby Lily skates that a lot.
Yeah.
And she handles it.
Yeah.
That spot's
What bums
noir.
me out is I watched something on YouTube recently, and they were showing her, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Ruby Lily from San Diego," and I was like, "No, man, she's from Maryland.
Yeah, she's from Ocean City.
I think she lives in San Diego now, but yeah, she's from Maryland."
Yep.
But,
Yeah, Ruby Lily. And her brothers all skate. She's a rad skateboarder. She's the one that I talked about multiple times on the podcast where she would hang out with Willa when they'd come. And all her brothers would skate and everything, and she didn't really skate as much back then. Next time I see her, she came back for the Red Bull Cold Bowl event that we had here. And I was like, Ruby, what's cooking? You know, you rip. You know, you're awesome. I don't think her brothers skate as much as they did, but
yeah.
she's just. We always make sure we carry her board. She had a foundation board, and then from Tommy, I always get Miles Willard stuff, and I always get Ruby Lily stuff. Make sure.
And then Roman Pabich.
Oh my God,
Recently-
Roman and Cedric.
Yeah.
You can't forget about Cedric. Cedric's
Yeah, for
rad
sure.
too, but
Roman recently added to the Birdhouse Pro team.
Woof.
Yeah.
When you weren't there.
Oh, the X
At,
Fest.
at Adel's Toxic
Yeah.
Skateboards X Fest.
Yeah.
With Adelson, he had it in the barn, but Roman was there.
Yeah, I've skated with those guys once at a different bowl in Berlin, Maryland. They were back visiting their family at Christmas, and I mean, I hadn't seen skateboarding like that in a couple of years since I lived in San Diego, and it was just ridiculous to watch. Those guys were so good.
Roman is 1,000% next level.
Yeah.
And who did he ride for? He rode for Uma with Evan Smith, who was amazing, who was here tonight, who was standing right there. But love that. Evan Smith rules. But yeah, I mean, that's the level of those guys.
Yeah.
They were on the vert ramp when we first built it, and his trucks are going bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, dude, one has pads, one doesn't.
Yeah.
Not only did he not wear pads, but you could flick his truck and it'd be like, bang, 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 bang. And he was just destroying the vert ramp with trucks like that. And I was like, what's your name? And he's like,
P-A-B-I-C-H.
and I was like, spell it. And he had I made him spell his name because I couldn't understand what he was saying. I mean, woof.
So when you first went out to San Diego, I mean, did you have a goal in skateboarding of, okay, I want to get sponsored?
No,
I never. It was like, I just want to skate as much as possible in this like iconic.
I never looked at skateboarding
spot.
like that. I just always wanted to have fun or continue to have fun riding my skateboard. I looked at sponsors as like added benefits or fringe benefits, whatever you want to call it. But it was never a goal. If it happened, it happened. Cool. I definitely sent out some sponsor me tapes and stuff, but I never sat down and was like, all right, I want to be sponsored by this company and I'm going to do whatever it takes. And, I was going to skateboard the same way regardless. So.
And how did you meet Eric?
I think I want to say I went to a trade show, an ASR trade show in San Diego, and I met the team manager. I think his name was Jason. I can't remember for sure, but I started talking to him, and he asked for a video, so I sent him a video, and it just kind of went from there. I think at that time, he was the team manager, and Guy Hartley, who actually lives in Pennsylvania now, but he was kind of like the primary team rider, I guess, at that time. And I don't remember all the details. Back then it wasn't like an email or anything. It was probably a phone call like, hey man, like we want to hook you up and whatever. So
one of the coolest things about FUCT is that it started as like a world thing.
I think so. It was Eric Bernetti and Nadas Kappas, I think, they kind of started it together. I don't know if they were like 50-50 partners or whatever. I don't know all the details on it, but they started out like with the FUCT jeans,
And they exploded.
shorts.
Yeah, fuck shorts exploded.
Yeah.
Everybody had fuck shorts. No joke. They were like, what were they? Were they like canvas or something?
I don't know if they were
Like
dyed denim.
Yeah, it was like a
They
little
were-
heavier.
Yeah, and they were always like oranges and yellows, like earth tones.
And this is when we were like, when people, skateboarders and rave culture kind of had a similar
The big pants, small
Yeah.
wheels era.
big pants. So these were like huge.
Mm-hmm.
Shin. You ever have a pair of fuck shorts?
Yep. Yeah. That's what I call them when I shit in them.
All right. Yeah, those shorts that you were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
And then they like blew up, and then they took the company out of left world camp.
Yeah.
And then I guess he had all that, that nice padding to like make it cool.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of the like history of that part of it, but yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Like Eric took it on his own and always made clothes, and then at some point got into making hard goods.
Yeah, it's still around in some aspect.
Yeah,
right?
he does. He just he does some reissues of boards and stuff. Kind of everything's limited edition with them now, but I still talk to him every once in a while, like through Instagram. He's reintroduced some old graphics that he did, like shirt graphics and stuff. So yeah.
Were you still working at Woodward? Or you
No,
were-
that was before I moved to San Diego.
okay.
Yeah, I just had a good friend that worked there, Jeff Brown, that I skated with a lot. Knew him for a bunch of years, and
Have you talked to him lately?
no, it's been a while. It's been a couple of years. I think he lives in Virginia or West Virginia. He got really big into mountain biking. His wife, I think, is like a professional mountain bike racer. Had a kid and stuff.
So what else were you doing like for work outside of skateboarding when you first went out there and then you got sponsored with FUCT?
Whatever I could to make money. Yeah.
What was the go-to? So, like, what were you scrounging up when you were in San Diego to eat? Like, what was the go-to? Like, you get a couple bucks, you're like, all right, I gotta make this last.
Whatever was cheapest.
And you were just skate like all day, every day, basically.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I could. That was, I just wanted to ride my skateboard, and I just whatever would make that happen for me. So, probably a lot of fast food and junk.
So skateboarding was like the ultimate priority, and just being on the board as much
initially,
as possible.
initially, yeah. Just because you can't beat the weather, and just there's skate spots everywhere. The ground is super good everywhere. It's
Can't see it.
a lot of ground. A lot of the ground is like granite or polished concrete, and
There it is.
So then what made you decide you wanted to go to school for graphic design?
I've always had an interest in like art, and I used to paint and draw as a kid, oil painting, acrylics, and charcoals, and all that kind of stuff. I really got into skateboarding, and I feel like that became my creative outlet. Because I kind of stopped like creating stuff on paper or canvas. And then we kind of mentioned earlier, there was a church park, had the 3 mini ramps and whatnot. They would have contests and stuff there. And the girl that ran the skate park would ask me to like make the flyers for it. And I would just kind of wing it and figure it out through trial and error on my own. And I realized that I could use my creativity doing that. So at some point I was like, all right, well, getting too old to do the skateboarding thing. Meanwhile, this is like 25 years ago that I was saying I was getting too old to skateboard. Mm-hmm. So I wound up, I went to school for, I think my degree was actually in interactive media design. That's what it was called. But essentially web design development stuff, which is hand in hand with graphic design.
And you had a time period where you didn't skate at all, right?
I did.
Like for years?
Couple of years.
You still got that?
The back tattoo, I do.
Still got that?
I,
When's the last time you did a Benny Honda?
I don't remember.
That spot was sick. That melon was sick. Andy, you ever work on one of those?
Yeah, well, not worked on it, but we have one in the shop.
Right now?
No, we had one, though. It was an old Ford truck, it looked like. 80s.
What song is this?
I have no idea. I didn't pick the music.
Ew, look at that Sally. I went to that skate park with you. So it's a roller rink, right?
Yeah, and the ramps were all portable. It would pull them out. I think only on the weekends.
You gave me some of that footage. We used it in a charm video. Who filmed this?
Oh, geez. I couldn't even tell you. Matt probably filmed some of it. I don't even know. You're asking me stuff from like 30 years ago.
Look at that. Ooh.
I
Oh.
love you, Chip.
All right, thanks.
All right, I'm gonna start my 5.
Okay.
Yeah. I think out of all of minus Bucky, out of all the friends that from my early childhood and all my homies growing up and everything, I think Chip was the first to turn pro.
I don't know.
Yeah, Rodney.
I never really honestly, I never really.
Well, not that it was a
thought about it
not that it was a competition
like
or
that.
anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you were lucky enough to turn pro before
Yeah.
anybody else. So that's super cool. That's my number 4.
Okay.
It's just that you did it. You lived the dream. You went to California. You went to San Diego, built a life for yourself, turned pro. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
And my number 5 was your sense of humor, doing the 35-year-old Joe bit.
Yeah. All right.
Number 3 is going to be that Switch Sally. Because myself, I'm a Sally man. I haven't done one. I'm a Sally Mander. I haven't done one in a really long time.
That very well could be the only switch style flip I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you see the frontside 360 south flip that Justin Lennon did over the spine? It was in a charm video.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, we called it the Sally Struthers.
Okay.
Love the Sally Struthers.
Mm-hmm.
So a south flip, Dani, is where you do a 360 flip, but you use your hand.
Gotcha.
It's pretty wacky. I mean, to say it like that, it's crazy.
I did one probably like about a year ago at Matt's. It took me 60 some tries to roll away from it.
The switch one, or
No, just a regular one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, I got it set in my head. I was like,
that would be the ramp to do it on because it's nice and steep.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's a good ramp for it.
I mean, you can't do any here on the little mini that we skate all the time.
Yeah, I've tried them a couple times, like to fakie over the spine, like more just kind of throwing it out there. I've never really tried to commit to it, but maybe one Tuesday night I'll throw it out there. I don't typically like to toot my own horn, but
I like when you toot your own
I
horn.
went to a demo. I don't even remember like how I got hooked up with this, but it was a very early Zero demo in Mexico.
You used to go to Mexico a lot?
No.
All
That's
right.
what makes it even weirder. So the girl that ran the church park, somehow, I don't know if she was connected to this demo in some way or whatever. But anyway, we went to this demo, and it was Jamie Thomas was there, a couple other, like 2 or 3 other early Zero riders, like when Zero was kind of just like a clothing company at that point. But I did a south flip on a quarter pipe there, and I think Jamie was on the deck when I did it, and one of the other guys was like behind me, and they both like gave me props for it, and I was like, damn, all right, that's cool. Like,
Yeah, you got a great South.
I did something that impressed Jamie Thomas, and it wasn't a handrail.
That's
So I was pretty stoked on that.
That's amazing. And, we've been talking a lot about South Flips right now, and I can't not. We have to say Sal Barbier made the 8th Street skateboarder, Plan B skateboarder, Sal Barbier, and very influential in the industry skateboarder. Sal Barbier is the guy who invented the South Flip. Okay, so my number 2 for you is the frontside rocker. Your frontside rocker.
It's one of my favorite tricks,
You have a good frontside rocker.
as long as they're done properly. Wheels on the deck.
That's right. Oh, decked out.
Yep.
Oh, that's with all those shirts, or
Yeah,
about
fully decked.
Decked out, fully decked. I thought it was some perverted shit, but no, it's fully
If you know,
decked.
you know.
Number 1. What's my number 1 chip moment? All right,
Number
Dan.
5.
All right.
That big melon grab out of the bank over the sidewalk into the street at the end of the FUCT video.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a good one.
All right.
Are very creative on a skateboard.
Thank you. Try to be.
I enjoy our sessions together.
Skateboarding sessions.
Yeah, creep. You say it like that.
Well,
Jesus Christ.
and our skateboarding sessions.
How about our Tuesday night sesh?
Yeah.
That's good. Wait, was that a number?
4.
That was 4.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, I got mine already.
Wait. What? You're throwing me off my roll.
Sorry, I got it. It just hit me because it's pretty important to me.
Okay.
Planet of the Apes trip.
Yeah,
You don't even remember it. That's how
Meant
much
something
of a
to me.
superstar it meant.
meant something to me.
All
Damn.
right.
We go to San Diego. We get to San Diego to the trade show. FUCT has giant 60 foot tall, and I'm not exaggerating, right? It's about right?
Probably. Yeah.
60 foot tall Planet of the Apes whole like banners and like royal garb from the Planet of the Apes people and stuff.
Oh, that's dope.
It was crazy, dude. It was huge. It was like you couldn't miss their booth because it was all.
Probably no licensing for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. It was
Yeah.
bonkers, dude. It was like full Planet. I mean, it was big, like going to the park and seeing a 60 foot tall Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
You could not miss their booth. And that's when Chip, were you just got on or you were on?
Probably just got on.
Yeah, I
I'm
think we
guessing.
just got on.
Yeah.
And it was like popping. And then we skated San Diego a little bit and had a good, it was just a great trip. And then we go back to Chip's house. And it's Planet of the Apes Marathon is on the TV.
Oh, it was perfect.
And I was like,
That was coincidence, but
I'm like, am I in like, this is weird. It's just crazy. But it was such a super fun trip. And, we had a really good time. And it was just like, and whenever I remember it, I remember like California to me is all Planet of the Apes, all Planet of the Apes.
Right.
If you're not watching Planet of the Apes, you're not in California
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
was all Planet of the Apes this trip.
Yeah, next thing you
Okay.
know, you're like sitting on the couch and like fucking Planet of the Apes fan mail starts pouring in.
We had
one
Roddy
day.
McDowell is next to me on the. It was just nuts. It was just like all Planet of the Apes that trip, and it was just, oh, that's the one where Muska, a sunglass company pulled up, and Muska is like, and bends their antenna on their
Okay.
truck like off,
okay.
and the dude was like, "What the fuck? That guy rides for us." And then he got out of the car, punched him. He like fell over, and his hat like rolled into my lap. And he was like, "Later, dudes," and like went away. He like ran away.
That's California.
Yes, so I had Muska's hat for like years, and then this kid who was like super into it because Shorty's video came out a couple years later, and this dude was like super into it, and I gave him the hat. I was like, "You fucking love Muska so much. Here you go,
I was
brother."
gonna say you should have held on to it and
For the
now
museum.
Now he's a farmer in Ohio.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just a fucking awesome trip, and just yeah, you're right. That is California, the Muska roll.
My number 3 favorite thing about Chip. He took time out today to film me, not land a trick. But he was there with the camera. He's a supportive guy. And I think that also trails its way into like his career, because he's like the backbone of safety in Baltimore County.
I don't know about all that.
Well, you
but-
can save a life. I'm not certified to save a life. I can't even save my own life. I don't know where to start.
All you can do is make life.
And he's just
You
saving
just
all.
keep making it.
He's saving all kinds of lives. I can't even save my own.
You keep making
He makes
life,
life,
bro.
and he's like, oh shit, I don't even know how to maintain this other life he has. Shit.
I don't even know how to maintain my own life. It's like I know how to take
Leave it
care
up
of
to
everybody
Michelle.
else.
Thank God Michelle's
But so that leads me into my number 2. And my number 2, I'm gonna say it's that glare in your eye.
The glare.
Having a glisten. Or is
way-
it a glare?
The way
You're giving me a glare now. Is it a glisten or a glare?
the glare that he gives me
Okay.
that has a glisten in it.
Is it glistening glaring?
It's a glistening glare. When I'm riding on the ramp and I look up at him, and he's like almost halfway not paying attention to me. But I know in that
Because
moment
he's skating.
we connect.
I pay attention.
All right. So I'm just gonna. It's just gonna.
Asserting dominance in
So
an
it's a high
undominant
4
position.
from
Go
Andy.
ahead. That's it.
So it's a No, I already wrote Nar calendar
we're
shot.
so serious around here.
Yeah, that's right. We're super serious. Okay,
Now
so
we're
what you
gonna
got,
go to
Dani?
My serious top 5 on Chip Adams. Number 1.
Sorry. Go
Whoa,
again.
he said whoa.
Go again.
I'm
Start
sorry.
over.
Chip
Yeah.
is very encouraging.
Hold
and
on. Wait till he's done
supportive.
giggling. All right, now go. Now it's just gonna cut with him and his head down on the table.
Chip is very encouraging and supportive.
He is.
He is. As I just said
I would
that.
say aside from Jay,
Oh,
Chip
thanks.
has taught me most of what I know in skateboarding. One of my most encouraging teachers. So I appreciate it. Yeah, you've helped
well,
me out a lot.
I like to see people progress.
I know, isn't it nice? It's so awesome when you can help somebody learn something like that.
You just plant
You're
a
very
seed in
generous
somebody.
with your
Imagine-
time.
Imagine if we had that when we were growing up.
What? Support?
Support or instruction
Yeah.
or like anything
Yeah,
like
there's no like YouTube videos
No,
or
there's
nothing.
countless hours of trial and error.
like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, like I mean it. Like I look up to you guys as skateboarders.
Thanks. I
Just-
appreciate
no.
it.
She looks down on me. She's like this
No,
fucking scum of the
Ian,
earth.
no. You kill it. You kill it.
Andy's
For
amazing on a
sure.
skateboard.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
You're
I think
so
you
good on a
are.
skateboard.
I am not that good. I see other people and I'm I
I
will
think you're
never
like-
let people
Well, you
call
definitely
me.
impressed me. So yeah.
I think you're like better than most. You're like one of my favorite skateboarders because
Dude, I'm pretty good, I guess. if
you
I'm-
are very good.
Mm.
I've watched the footage, dude. I'm telling you, you are
He said I
amazing.
watched the footage, bro.
I
You're
have the
also
footage.
really consistent.
He is.
At
That's
like
the thing.
5 tricks.
No, fuck no.
But you
Once you
also
get something, you
consistently
do
show
it.
up to the Tuesday sessions.
For
too.
and you've progressed a ton since then.
You know what? I appreciate it, guys, but this is the Chip episode.
I know Chip's amazing. He's fully decked.
He's totally decked.
Chip's got great style. He's
Chip
carving.
is still doing
Yeah.
it at how
Yes,
old?
that's right. I told you
53.
he's the old man that
53.
everybody won't shut up about. Did he
This-
just win the Baltimore County Skateboard Council,
The first one, yeah.
Shout out that guy,
Baltimore County Skateboard guy, Chris Schaefer?
Chris Schaefer.
Yeah.
We had a great event for Go Skate Day.
Yeah,
this
I'm
year.
trying to attend some of the meetings, by the way. I mean, I feel like you threw me that little, you were like, hey, man, like maybe next time we can call on. I was like, oh, maybe I will.
So, what's your number 4?
So.
Oh, just Gazer, he's like, no, fuck this.
Chip,
You're-
Chip said, "I love hearing you love me." What's your number 4,
No, we just
Dani?
gotta get back on track.
Your longevity, you know.
Oh yeah, he's got a good career.
And you're still skateboarding
Uh,
at your age.
Yeah, but he's
impressive.
He's skateboarding at a level that's motivating a bunch of people. That's what's super impressive about a super long
Yes.
career like this.
Yeah.
'Cause
No,
a lot of-
it's,
Some people
it's
do it.
inspiring. It's not just motivating. It's inspiring.
1,000.
And
And because
longevity.
You are showing other people that, I mean, like, I'm older. Maybe I don't look like I'm older to people, but, like, I'm older. I have, like, old lady issues, and it's easy to just make excuses about your age. And, there is a mental, sometimes a difference in, and especially for me as someone that started at an older age, to kind of let that hold you back. But when you see someone like you that is also older, Jay, like still getting out and riding at the level that you are.
What?
What?
I'm old?
You're old. You're old, yeah.
I'm so old. I hit my knee today walking like an idiot. All right. I couldn't see.
You just kind of, okay, then you're like, oh man, well, if they're doing it, then I can do it too. Yeah. And I think it's super cool, which I guess we could make this a separate one. You're posting content about it for other people.
Yeah, you're
to
inspiring.
See.
You're very inspiring, Chip.
And
I hear the
you're very
chatter.
consistent
Thank you.
about
I hear the
posting
chatter.
content.
I don't.
I do.
I don't think I hear it. I don't know. Maybe
He
I'm
was
not
mine
listening.
first, guys.
I don't know.
Well, I hear.
But I appreciate all the kind words.
So when I was at the
You're putting yourself out there.
when I was at one of the Baltimore County Skateboard Council meetings, a lot of it was just how rad you were. Actually, it's in the minutes because they take minutes of those meetings. So it was in the minutes of how rad Chip Adams is. Because it's one thing to like just chill and be like, yeah, sick 5-0 guy, or we're not like that. We're like, yeah, sick 5-0, now turn around and switch crook, or yeah, like
Right.
5-0 to fakie, or Chip's like, I'm doing a 5-0 to fakie to shove it around the corner, but my wheels missed and I didn't hear it because they're the dragons, and I don't know, it's just awesome because we're all still pushing so hard for progression and just
Tuesday session has been transformative for me.
yeah, you kill it, and Chip kills them, and they're so fun and amazing, and yeah, Chip he inspires me. I'm old and I get inspired.
He just honestly
He lights a fire.
I mean, he just turns me on, plain and simple.
Jesus, God darn
So
pieces.
4 would be longevity, 3
Double entendre
putting
on the longevity
himself
thing.
out there.
Yeah, posting content, putting himself out there, and number 2.
You work well under pressure.
Thank you.
That's what makes him a great firefighter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's because I don't know. To me, I don't think you are always. Maybe you are. I don't like. I'm not inside your head, but like you seem to like not always be thinking. Like you mentioned, the selflessness, and they teach you those principles as a firefighter, and that you seem to not always be thinking so internally, and you're thinking externally a lot about other people.
Have you came across any firefighter that loses his shit under pressure? That's like, it's fucking hot.
Oh, yeah,
fuck.
there's definitely.
Is there?
Yeah, there's people like that.
Wow.
So you're
That-
you're not overthinking it. You're just like, okay, well, I have to show up for this. You're
Yeah.
thinking about the person in the situation and
Yeah,
not about
like,
your
it's-
own fears, your own emotions.
Yeah,
He's
whatever.
acting
You
on
know,
it.
here to do a job.
Yeah.
And there's compartmentalizing things and whatever. But
I'm here to save a
I
life.
think the first thing is like you have a job to do, so do it.
Yeah, but then also like the car situation too. Like I was like, so what did you do? How did you react? Like,
But
you
I
were
mean,
like,
I'm sure
you
I was.
seemed like you were really calm.
I was probably mad, but like, what good's it gonna do to like, oh fuck, and start yelling and screaming and stuff? It's not getting my car back,
I probably would have let out a couple motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean like.
And I probably
Oh, not-
I probably express the most emotion when I get caught up like trying a trick, and you get into that battle, that internal battle of just like whatever, man versus self or whatever you want to call it. And there's definitely been some frustration there,
Sure. Yeah.
but no hockey temper. Or very minimal hockey temper, but that's
Alright.
entertaining too.
Dani, number 1.
I like that you did whatever possible to just prioritize skateboarding and just for the fun of it. Like you were, shifting, morphing your life around, in the San Diego era at least, just around. You weren't even overthinking it. It seemed like very simple for you. Like, I just want to be on a board as much as possible. And
Yeah,
you
that's-
did whatever it took to do that. And you didn't have necessarily a goal and it wasn't for anyone else other than you and the love of skateboarding.
Yeah, that's
Just like
I
for the
think
love
is a
of it.
completely
You know, it wasn't for an
honest thing,
audience.
yeah.
It wasn't for money. It wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
Just,
Like, and as I've gotten older, like, I mean, I feel like I still have that same attitude. Like, you know,
yeah, I think so.
I whether I show
I
up
can
here
tell.
or whatever other skate park or whatever, you know, like, I want to do tricks that make me happy or that I feel like are an accomplishment. You know, I mean, I get it. I'm not doing like never been done tricks at this point in my life, you know, but
Yeah.
stuff that,
Like you posted that blunt the other day,
Mhm.
and you were like, I haven't done one, you know, since I ate shit on one, you know, like
Yeah.
a couple months back or whatever. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, that's kind of stuff at this point for, as an older skater, it's always trying to like I'll learn a trick. I mean, we all still learn tricks, and we also do a lot of progressive tricks too. But sometimes it's just like, okay, I just want to make sure I can kickflip right today.
yeah.
Or I texted you out of the blue. I was like,
Yeah, the
I
heel
did-
flips
I
or
did
switch
a-
heel flips.
I did a switch heel flip today. I'm fucking pumped. I ain't done
Yeah.
one in so long.
Like, I was just talking to somebody pretty recently, and we were talking about like learning tricks and stuff, and I was like, yeah, I don't really necessarily learn new tricks, like new to me tricks. A lot of it at this point in my life is relearning tricks,
Right. But it, you know,
But-
like, I mean,
but it's still fun and still the same challenge.
yeah, yeah.
you know.
But you don't care. Like, you're still gonna skateboard, and you're gonna still push yourself in skateboarding,
Mm-hmm.
whether like Jay's recognizing it or you know, with some sponsors recognizing it. You're still gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna do it. You're intrinsically motivated. It seems.
I
to
try.
me.
I mean, you know,
You know that, and that's
That's what I would title that one. Intrinsically motivated.
well, it's like a it's like a freedom that we didn't have back in the day either. Like
yeah, there were unwritten rules, and
There was
you
a
got to do
lot of
certain tricks
rules,
and
a
not do
lot
other
of
tricks.
rules,
and, you know,
now, it's like you can do whatever you want.
yeah, it's pretty much anything goes.
Skateboarding's probably at its most freest point right
Yeah,
now.
and it's so creative. Like it's always been that way, but now you watch some of the stuff that
Oh gosh,
guys are
Instagram.
doing. Yeah,
Woof.
it's so ridiculous. Like,
Or
don't know.
look at Andy.
yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
Botto,
for creativity.
Yeah, the way tricks are linked
I'm not
together
good at
and
this-
just I don't know. Yeah,
this
it's
part of
insane.
things. Talking about me, I don't
What?
know. I don't know.
You're not humble? You're bad at being humble? All right, I'm definitely using that. All right, what's your 5, Chip? What you got?
Oh man, I don't know.
You've lived a life, bro. Give us top 5 things that you enjoyed in it.
Number 5. Living in San Diego, just in general,
Yeah.
was pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's
You know, I
pretty
just
amazing.
the,
I love San Diego.
like Danny was kind of alluding or saying,
San Diego.
you know, like I just made it work. You know, I didn't like have this big elaborate plan on how I was going to do it. I just pretty much got in the car and went and was like,
that was your
all
dream
right,
life.
this,
Yeah.
this is what I'm doing. I'm going to make this happen. You know, I'll pass out flyers on a street corner for food money or whatever it was, you know, to be able to stay there. And that's
You were comedy
You were
barking?
You were
Yeah, I was-
resourceful.
yeah.
Oh my God,
like-
were you really a barker?
I didn't stand on a street corner, but I actually, it was like a job through a friend of a friend of a friend type thing. But we'd go to like college campuses and put flyers for San Diego Comic-Con on
Oh,
windshields.
wow.
Yeah. You know, and got paid cash under the table and was like, all right, sweet. That's a week's worth of food, you know? So, yeah. But yeah, I think just, you know, getting it out to San Diego and making it last out there, be my number 5, although it should probably be number 1, but nah. Number 4, just still riding my skateboard 40 plus years. You know, yeah, there were some breaks in there, but you know, who's counting? So, but just
Just grateful to be still skating.
yeah, and just, I mean, not that I'm at like this high level of skateboarding, but I'm not just the guy that shows up and like rolls around in the corner and doesn't do anything other than roll around. You know, like I still try to do tricks and still fall and slam and
That's
get back
what,
up. And
that's what I'm talking about.
You're
Like,
still pushing,
it's one
pushing
thing.
yourself.
It's one thing to just do frontside 5-0s over and over and over again. When
I'm
I
a
teach,
front 5-0 the corner pocket and then go to fakie.
exactly. Well, he does great frontside pivot fakies too. They were kind of out of nowhere. At Hazelwood the other day when you were doing it, I was like, I don't know if this is the quarter pipe, and then he did it. I was gonna be like, I don't know, because it's like got vert almost. And I'm like, I don't know if this is the quarter pipe for that trick. Like sometimes they just don't work.
yeah.
And you just did it like next try, and I seriously was in my mouth saying that. I don't know if that's, and then you just did it, and I was like, all right, sick, man, because that's a tough cookie for that little quarter. That thing's gnar. I love that quarter. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah,
There.
it's fun.
What at
Hazelwood, yeah,
Oh yeah, dude, I love that quarter.
Yeah.
it's good, isn't it?
I went there the one day with Bryant when it was the last Tuesday.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I skated
Nollie big spin nose pick on that.
probably 75% that, yeah, and then the other quarter with the box or the manual pad.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Literally those two things the whole time. I might have messed around on, it's like an A-frame on that.
Ooh,
other side,
that was a rough one.
just a little bit, but like it was just that.
Yeah, that little quarter's great. I mean,
fun.
on Go Skate Day, we had like a 4-hour sesh on it.
Mhm. And it
Like-
makes the perfect noise.
Yeah, we had a good. That was a really fun session skating that. So 40 plus years of skating. Oh, but yeah, that's what I was getting to. Is like progressive. Yes, it's 40 years of skating, but it's 40 years of progressive skating. Even at the end of it, it seems like, to be honest, I think that we're all a little more progressive now than we were back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, like the approach changes.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then the types of tricks change. Like. You
Oh
know,
yeah, we're not stair gapping or
Yeah.
handrails or anything like that.
And we talked, I think, a couple days ago. I was here skating, and I'd said something to you about a trick I wanted to try, and I was like, it's kind of not really in my wheelhouse, you know, because like everybody develops the tricks that
Yeah, that they feel comfortable with.
Yeah, and I haven't tried that trick yet, but you know, hopefully maybe next Tuesday.
I've seen you go out of it though a bunch. You know, like the whole point is that we keep changing it. But I was trying to get to earlier, just a little point along this line is when I teach a lot of lessons, the first thing I do is try to put a seed of progress in there. Because I can teach you stance and I can teach you how to push and I can teach you how to push properly and put your foot back on the board. But I don't want you to think like, I've won skateboarding. You didn't win shit. You got to keep going.
Yeah, you never win skateboarding.
That's the joy of skateboarding is that you can't win this shit. You just
when
got to
you-
keep going and going and going.
Just when
Never
you
finish
think
that.
you have like mastered or accomplished something, skateboarding's like, hey, guess what? You missed this little rock in the road.
Yeah, no dice.
Skateboarding is always there to humble you.
Oh,
Hey, guess what?
100%.
Credit card,
100%.
Yeah, you forgot your card.
dude.
You forgot your card here. Oh, you've never credit carded yet.
No, she's not. No, you have not credit carded. You would
Show
never.
her what a credit card is with the fingerboard.
So credit card. I was gonna stand up and deal with that. So basically, a credit card, right, is when you're just like willy nilly. It happens a lot when you're doing drops and you like pop late, but or don't pop at all and try to bail. But like basically, it's like a and then you fall.
Credit card.
Yeah,
Swiping that card.
yeah, it's not a
That
good
makes
one.
sense.
It hurts.
My buddy,
And the
had to go to
transaction is
hospital.
declined every time.
Yeah.
My buddy had a hospital trip because of that. We were
Oh,
skating.
no, really?
You know, Essex Elementary. When we were younger, we would just go there and skate that one little. You had barely any room to push, so you had to push, set up, do your trick. And he tried to bail out because he pushed and didn't have his feet set. And he went straight, like he jumped trying to clear it. The board bounced and went straight up and boom. And he laid there in like the August sun for the better part of like 30 minutes while I just was like,
You're
couple
okay,
minutes-
bud.
like every couple minutes I was like, bro, like, are you good? Are we gonna be able to make it home? Cause we were like 11 or something. Yeah, man, that was a rough one. And I saw his nutsack.
And then you called.
It did not look like a nutsack, dude. It was fucked.
All right. Speaking of sex, all right. What's
So my number 3,
yeah?
I think I'm going to go with the fact that, and as a skateboarder, and Jay, I'm sure you'll be in agreement with this, and I probably shouldn't put it out there, but I've been pretty fortunate with no serious injuries.
Oof.
I know.
Yikes.
I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Oops.
I don't
That's
ever
me
talk
knocking on
about
wood.
Injuries. My number one rule
But-
is not to talk about them.
And like, it's not because you like hold back either, though. Like that's the crazy thing.
I mean, I've definitely had my fair share of slams. I mean, even recently.
Yeah, like what's that? You think you've escaped injury, except Joe's sitting at home right now going, what's for my next bit?
I will say, I just recently, I about 3 weeks ago, I got a shinner, unlike any shinner I've ever had in my life.
It's the worst.
It basically ran from my knee to my ankle, like just gnarly bruising.
Oh, did you like rub it up against
I haven't
like a
gotten
ledge
any
or
shinners.
something?
No, it was the
Skateboard.
board. It hit right above my ankle,
got
and it
plenty
slid
though, and I
up
was
my
like,
shin to
goodness,
my
and it
kneecap,
sucks.
and yeah, I mean it was a mess. I still have bruising from it. It's
Yeah.
not, it doesn't hurt anymore, but yeah, it was bad. Like, I don't wear shorts frequently, but I
It's, like,
definitely
such a
wasn't wearing shorts with
vulnerable
that.
spot.
The worst are those angle iron ledges. Angle
Yeah.
iron ledges. Angle iron ledges.
Yeah, they're the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, when you go to 50
Why
front
did you
50-50.
say it?
Because him with a million angle iron ledges in the back room. And my dumbass thinks that he can skate street every now and then. So front 50-50 and then you slip out and your shins just yink. Oh. That one got me good one time.
I thought it was the face of like, I didn't record all this or something.
Oh, it's okay.
So for my number two,
Numero two.
I'm gonna go with being on the podcast.
shit.
You know, because I mean, I look at myself and my skateboarding like I'm just a guy that rides a skateboard. You know, like what special whatever do I have? You know,
You're
so
Chip
I'm
Adams,
appreciative of you having me on here and sharing my story that I don't think is anything special.
We think it's special.
Well, thank you. And then my number one, I'm going to go with it getting hired by the fire department and starting the fire academy at 45 years old when most people are like looking at retirement at that age. So,
But you dogged it out.
yeah. So,
Climbed up on in there and did
I'm glad you tooted your own horn on that one.
I don't like to do that, but, you know, I do.
No, this is your list,
I
and we
do-
want people to tell
yeah.
us what they're proud of.
I mean, I
or
do
what they're
recognize
happy
it.
Worthy.
I do recognize that, you know.
with. Do they have an age limit?
No, if you can still do the job. So,
Sorry, do you have to stay at the fire department now and then? Like, is that how your job
on night works,
there?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We
You-
sleep.
You,
You
got,
know, we
like,
have
bunks
beds.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Join you. We can all be bunk buddies.
We don't stay up all night. You know, it's not driving around in the fire engine for 14 hours
Yeah.
waiting for calls.
Yeah, it's good you share something like that though, because there's a lot of people out there that maybe they're older in age, they haven't achieved their dreams, or they're starting over and they don't know what their next step is.
Yeah.
And
I just,
so it's good to hear sometimes that no matter what age you are, you can still achieve
yeah, if
a
you
new
want to.
dream and a new goal.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and I joke with friends and stuff and, you know, like, oh, I'm old. But at the same time, I'll be the first one to say, like, I'm the youngest 53-year-old that you'll ever meet. You know,
You have a
Like-
youthful energy.
yeah. Like, I mean, I work with people that are younger than me that look older than me, and, you know, they're not going to skate park.
Well, you've lived a pretty clean life too.
Yeah, tried. So,
So
Kind of
that
like reminds me like of that Nas song with the chick singing, I know I can be what I want to be. Because, like, she was
If
saying,
I
like,
work
he's
hard
40,
at it,
yeah, she was saying
I'll
he's,
be
you
where I
know,
wanna be.
however old, and he, you know, against the odds or whatever. He can do whatever he wants because he put his mind to it, and he's Chip Adams.
that's right.
age is just a number.
That's right. Oh, we all know that. That's basic. That's common knowledge.
Yeah, we do. All right, sick. There's just so much I think that we didn't hit this time because your life is just there's so much to it. You've done so many things, and you've called one of the hubs of skateboarding on the West Coast home for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to think Baltimore is a hub of skateboarding, not the hub of skateboarding on the East Coast, but a hub of skateboarding on the East
It's like
Coast.
undercover, you know.
I mean, that's what we talked about with Shane. And like,
It's like a factory. It just produces gnarly people. It's like
There's significant skateboard history though. Toxic
so,
skateboards.
people
and,
gatekeep
you
though,
know.
like with the skateboard stuff, like where they're getting their boards from and this and that.
some people do.
Well, that's like California. They're like gatekeeping.
We don't.
They're like, all right, well, we got these gnarly dudes coming in out of this factory in Baltimore. Make sure no one knows about this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of skateboarders that move to California and then turn pro.
Do
From-
people say that?
from
Let's
Baltimore.
Make sure no one knows about this.
Well, I mean, he's got a fair point. It's just, remember we talked about with Shane. Shane himself was like, because we'll go from D.C. to Philly. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck did you just do? And he was like, what do
You
you...
skipped over.
What do you mean? And I was like, you skipped over us, you son bitch. And he was like, oh my God, I did. You're right. And then he blessed us with some accolades for a bunch of the stuff that we had done. But from Baltimore, amazing people that, I mean, Bucky. Enough said, Bucky. Like, Bucky is so talented that he just, he lives in California now, but I mean, come on.
Rodney Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rodney Jones is one of the most natural skateboarders I've ever met.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's significant skateboard history here, but it's like undercover, and it goes all the way back to the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
Ocean City and
Ocean City, Maryland, in the 80s was so poppin'.
yeah,
With the
Atlantic
scene.
Skates and Toxic and
But like Jeff
you know.
Grasso and all them lived here
Yeah.
for a little while. Like a whole, like you're talking about California, like, oh, I want to move to California. People from California and stuff were like, oh, I want to move to Ocean City, Maryland. That scene was so poppin'.
Part
Yeah.
of it though is because of the climate there.
yeah, that plays a huge role in it.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
What,
you
in Ocean
can-
City?
You can skate all year round
well, East Coast versus
outside.
West Coast, but
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, my God. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
But it,
Oh
you
my
know,
God, Carl,
like
you're so
back beginning of COVID, I started a Facebook group, the Maryland Skateboarding Facebook group. From 70s until present day.
That's you?
I started it.
Oh wait,
yeah.
that's you.
Yeah, I'm the one that started that.
I'm in that.
And
Yeah, me too.
like, I don't announce that. Like, this is the announcement of it. I don't know, 7 years after I created
the
the group,
guy.
or 6 years after I created the group, or
Did
whatever.
you just pull the curtain, Oz? I
but-
didn't know.
But
M. Night
like,
Shyamalan.
I mean, if you really dig into that, there's so much like old stuff.
Yeah, Denny Reardon.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a...
He was the first pro that I ever met.
Yeah, he's awesome. I got one of my first boards from Island Dreams.
Yeah. First person to skate Pot Springs Ditch.
I've been there.
1976,
That is a
I think, or
rough,
73.
rough spot.
Yeah.
Tabernacle Springs.
I don't know about that. But Pot Springs is crazy.
Did you just make that up?
Yeah.
No, it's a real spot over in Dundalk. You should
No.
know about it. Tabernacle Springs.
You just made it up.
Tavern sucker sucks. Because that
What
ain't...
are you talking about?
All right. Yeah, that's super cool. That's you. I love that. Yeah, and there's some awesome photos and stuff that come through there, like that fiberglass park that was in Waldorf.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
I had no
Like,
idea about
yeah,
that.
I mean, a lot of us, like our generation, Jay and I's generation, that was before us, and we had no clue.
Well, I remember my mom. I would look in there was a thing called a phone book, and I would look in the phone book.
I'm familiar.
It was
You
a big
youngins.
yellow pages, and it was. I mean, these are for maybe not for you, Danny, but for the people who are out there who are like, "What is he talking about?" There was a big giant phone book, and you would look for information. It was like a real slow Google.
If you wanted to make a prank call,
I
that was
love
the
that you're
place to
telling
go.
people about this.
Well, because I would look for skate parks in there, and in the skate
That
park,
is so funny.
yeah, I would look for skate parks in there, and the one skate park that was on Route 40 that was under Cycle
love that.
World, they filled the park in to put Cycle World on top of.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Cycle World, and I went inside, and I was like, where's the skate park? And they're like, get the fuck out. And I'm like, no, there's a skate park. It says it here in the yellow pages. I had the sheet. And I'm like, it's right here. And they're like, yeah, that was here like 10 years ago. We buried it to put this Cycle World in here. And I was like, thanks, man. Shit. God, I can never remember Cascade. But Cascade was like the same deal. Like it's covered by a bearing company or something, a computer company or something.
It's part of it. Well, I don't know. I've not been there actually, so I can't
Ever?
Yeah.
You've never been to Cascade?
No. So
This is nuts.
I can't.
I went there with Bucky, and he was destroying it.
I can't speak accurately about it. I know that at least part of it is not covered.
What the fuck? This is blowing my mind. Catonsville, you're familiar.
Yeah.
Krusty, check. We just had Fred Gall in here a few minutes ago, and you were talking to Fred Gall, and you said, hey, fellow brother in crust. Like you guys were talking about how much you love crusty spots. Don't worry, we didn't do a podcast, Dani. We were just talking. But they were talking about how they love crusty shit together. It's crusty as fuck. Check. Catonsville, check. Like, you know where it's at. I mean, it's still half buried.
Yeah. I think it goes through phases where people dig up part of it.
And then the guy at the little mechanic shop there gets pissy and throws trees down there, and it happens all the time.
But I will make it a point that within the next month or so,
I'm finishing a ramp up in that area. If you're off during the day, I'll try to meet you there one day.
I think the problem is I have to wait till my schedule aligns to have weekends off, because I'm pretty sure you can't skate there during the week.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, so I have to wait.
Planning your next skate date.
So my days off are during the week right now.
It's a pretty wacky spot. It's really hard to skate.
Yeah.
The part that I was doing pivot to fakies on a spot that was round.
Yeah.
Like there's no coping. Like Bucky had that real famous.
The backside ollie.
Oh.
Yeah.
God. It was so good.
And I feel like that was a different section than what they skate now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's the one that I skated. But I saw it in the magazine and was like.
That was in a spotlight.
It looks so dope, but like people don't know like how rad it was to see it in person. I was just like, oh my God. I just, I D-ride on Bucky all the time because he's so good. All right, so we're at Catonsville and we're wrapping things up. And I thank you so much for coming out. I thank Andy for your humble 5 today, and Dani for your amazing 5 for Chip.
Very well thought out.
Yeah.
Top
You
5.
planned out 5.
Thanks. I was impressed.
Mine's got the Planet of the Apes on it.
Intentional.
Well,
And I had no idea. Thanks. You know what?
Unlike Andy.
Real quick, we got to give the people from Black River Ramps props for when they came through. I know this is number 2, but this is actually like number 36.
Check this out, Maria.
Oh my God! Yeah, Maria, tell him to suck it because he.
Shout out.
You. Black River Ramps. That was good. That wasn't too bad. The last one, but I had no idea that Black River Ramps was gonna lend us the assist on the credit card demonstration.
Hey.
Thank you, Black River Ramps. Pumped. Can't wait till your episode comes out.
Maria, she left her mark.
She did, because we talk about her almost every episode.
She was memorable.
She was amazing.
I didn't even meet her. But you know what? I got one more for you, girl.
We're going to have her out again.
Wait, this camera.
Local fingerboard pro, Maria. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Wow.
Oh my
First
God.
try.
Love this.
Andy is going to get heckled.
Friday.
He is going to get crushed in the comments. They're going to be like, my 5-year-old fingerboards. Your unborn son probably fingerboards better.
There's a grandmom that fingerboards. I can't remember her name, but
I've seen it.
a good friend of mine just sent me a clip of her.
Isn't she just like fingerboard granny or something?
Yeah, I think that's it. Fingerboard Granny that might be her name. But yeah, she kills it.
We're going to have to fly her in.
Yeah.
That's it. FB Granny. See you next time.
1v1 Granny versus Maria.
Yeah, dude. In the skate fingerboard comp of the century.
Mano a mano.
Yeah,
Mano
right.
y mano. And I'm pretty sure in Spanish, mano means hand.
Does it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Does it, Danny? You're
Manos.
fluent?
Manos is hands. Manos.
manos.
Manos y mano. All right.
Manos y manos. Handsy hands.
All right, sick. That was a fun episode. For people who don't know, Chip has actually co-hosted a ton. like 3 or 4 more episodes. We did the kickflip one. We did
Oh, yeah,
Markovich.
Yeah.
The kickflip one was great. Oh man, should have asked Starhead Body a couple, or Evan Smith. Sorry, I should
Yeah,
have
get him on.
He's in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
but when he was leaving, he's like, "I'll see you in another 15 years, Jay." And I was like, "Son of a biscuit! I'll see you in a couple hours when you drive here to do the podcast." But
He's already in Pittsburgh, though?
no, they're
No. Oh, he
they're on a
lives in
tour.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he lives in Pittsburgh.
That's where it's
Okay.
from. Yeah.
I was like, "You been to Shady Skates?"
I
He was
thought
like,
you
"Of
were
course I've been to
saying
Shady
his,
Skates."
Like, next stop was Pittsburgh. 'Cause
See,
I'm like,
there's some
that's far away
local-ish
now.
people. You know, I'd like to sit in on a BAM session. If you could get him in here.
Gotta get a hold of him.
Yeah.
He's all over the place.
Novak, too. I think it's a good one.
That's you. I've asked him a couple times.
Okay, I'll get on him.
Yeah, get on him. He's just scheduling with him.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's super important now.
He is.
You've always been important to me.
I
Brandon.
said something to him at the Hazelwood thing. I was like, "Hey, did you talk to Jay at all about the podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah, just got to work out scheduling."
Yeah, it's tough.
All right.
He's important now. He's running a bunch of houses. He's got a bunch of people he's responsible for.
That's good, though.
I don't even
You
know
He
him.
does a good thing.
Yes, it's good now.
Yeah.
It's because for a while it was not good, but now you're doing so good, and we're so proud of you, Brandon. So proud.
Very.
And you know, Brandon to us, I don't know if you feel this way, Chip, but Brandon to us is
Cam.
Cameron.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Cameron.
I
So
got you.
he's like, that's what he looks like to me all the time. I
Oh,
still
yeah.
remember him looking like that. Because when he skated back in the day, when he was riding for Pal and everything, he was a little kid. He was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And he was just like, when he got his ear pierced in that Pal video. Like,
Yeah.
just like I picture you with your face through that hole. I always picture Brandon just getting his ear pierced, and he's like,
He looks a little terrified.
What do you think? It hurts.
like a shit ton. Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah. One of the things, like, I mean, not to get too sidetracked, but one of the things I really appreciate about him now, like, sometimes when my schedule aligns, he comes into town usually on Saturdays to skate, and then he goes to see his mom. And sometimes I'm able to meet up with him for the session or whatever. But pretty much every time I see him, he always asks about my mom, which I appreciate that about him, you know, and he has like some core memories of things, you know, like my mom used to wear these leather driving gloves. And
Okay.
Brandon has this like core memory of her just like putting these gloves on, and he does the hand motion and everything. It's so funny. But I just appreciate that you know, he always checks in.
A thoughtful dude.
Yeah.
He's become a really solid person.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good guy.
And when we worked on, dude, so many memories from him being just like a total scuzzball when we were doing the Novak documentary. Like him, the second one, you know, like of you having your face in the hole in the fence. One of the things that I just is burned into me is I'm filming Bam in his house for the documentary. And he's like, yeah, Brandon would lift up the carpets and throw my credit cards underneath of it. And then when I went to go look for my credit card, I didn't have it because he had thrown it under the carpet.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we'll do a little like skit of it, you know, like we'll film it. And there's like 5 of us, you know, I think it was Mohawk and everybody were there at the time. So I set the camera up, we go over, and he lifts the carpet up to, you know, to show us where, and there was a credit card underneath of it.
Already there?
Yes. And we were like, everybody. It wasn't like anger or anything. We were just laughing so fucking hard.
That's awesome.
Bam pulls the carpet up, and there's a credit card under there. And we were just like, what the fuck? And he's like, Brandon! And Novak was gone, you know.
That's awesome.
Fucking out. And it was just so funny. What a, you know, amazing turnaround from that into, like I said, he has people that he is responsible for.
Oh, yeah. And he's always been an amazing skateboarder. And still to this day. Like, I love skating with him. I wish I could skate with him more often. But
at the you know, at the Go Skate Day at Hazelwood the other day, he was just nose blunt first couple tries.
Yeah.
on
Like,
that crazy steep quarter pipe. That we're
He's
talking
got
about.
his bag of tricks, and they have been his tricks for as long as I can remember.
At his worst stage in his addiction, we were at FDR filming stuff, and he's just doing pivot 270s.
Yeah.
On
that's a good
FDR
one.
and
Yeah.
the roughest,
Yeah.
like a 8-foot transition with just this gnar.
That's a good one. The front side nose blunt.
Whew.
Yeah.
God, he's super talented skateboarder. He's,
Yeah.
it's just that's the, remember we were talking about with Markovich, and we were just like, talent is talent. It's just, for a while, he was using his talent for drugs.
Yeah.
He's still the same talented dude. He just shifted focus from like, all right, I'm not a skateboarder anymore. I'm a drug addict. And he was just, he still was that super talented guy. It's like Dani. She's super talented at selling real estate. And then she's like, I'm just going to shift this talent into skateboarding for a little while. And that's what we're going to do. And Andy. He's like, I'm turning the wrench today. It ain't Tuesday. I'm turning wrenches today. And he just puts that talent right into, what were we working on today when I called you?
God, I don't know.
Because Ethan was like, that car sounds like shit.
I was underneath of a car. I don't remember what I was working on. I worked on so many fucking pieces of shit today.
Yeah, it was rough. That thing sounded gnarly. I was like, good thing Andy's on it, because that thing is sounding rough stuff.
I don't even know if I could fix that.
I think it coughed.
Dude, that thing had swine flu.
Well, here's what's the matter with your tires, man. You got swine flu.
Yeah.
All right. Good way to end. That's it. Episode 2 in the books. Swine flu. I'm out.
Boom.
This was sick. It was a good one. Thanks, Chip. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sorry. Can I get a crispy high five? Can I get a crispy line, Dani?
If you enjoyed hanging out with us tonight, please like and subscribe.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Chip.
Thanks.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Dani.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Riggedy bang bang.